Ready to get by this one. Robertson, six.
Just after 2 o'clock. How you doing? Lovely Tuesday afternoon. Welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. The Gregor Show, as always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where Lotto Max $50 million tonight. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca, and lots of opportunities to get in MLB action. You have the Euros, and how about a little Canada, Argentina tonight, 6 o'clock, Edmonton time, their chance to get to the final. Woo! What a game. I can't wait. 4 hours from now. I'm quite excited. I'll be honest, it's been a while since this excited, probably since Canada went for the gold at the Olympics in women's soccer for a soccer tilt. And this one, it's got Messi, it's got Argentina. Hey, last I checked, pretty good country when it comes to the thing they call soccer in North America. So you saw, obviously there'll be a larger Argentina crowd. And I will say this about Team Canada. I wonder how many more people get interested in wanting to travel to attend some of these games. Because you think about it, if they win tonight, you'd have a chance to go on Sunday to watch history, and there's no guarantee. Like, there's lots of good countries, right? Argentina, Brazil, USA, go down the list. I think you might never get back to a final again for Canada. And it doesn't mean that the country isn't good, but it's hard. So enjoy the game tonight. I can't wait. We will talk about that on the show today. Ben Steiner will be by to touch on that. Head coach and GM of the Edmonton Elks, Chris Jones, will kick off the show with us today at 2:20. We'll have Dave McCarthy, Struddy, Spec, DVD. Of course, Terry Ryan will be with us from 3 until 5 o'clock today. Got some, I keep digging into this, and I'm pretty certain, but all I'm going to say until I can get 100% confirmation is based on multiple sources. I've heard that I don't think Stan Bowman's going to be the next GM of the Oilers. Now, again, I could be wrong, and I'm basing that not that they're not necessarily interested, but that part of his ability to come back to the NHL suggests that his first gig is not a GM gig. Which, on one hand, I understand it. On the other hand, I'm like, well, okay, so you're basically saying, hey, you know what? He can come back in, but he can't be the main guy. Although nowadays, for a lot of teams, like look at Edmonton, you'll have a GM, but he's not the top of the food chain, right? There's the CEO of hockey operations. In other teams, they call it the president of hockey operations. So, but keep hearing that from multiple different places. So that's something to monitor. I know it officially starts tomorrow where he can be reinstated, but and he will be. Now, could you hire him as an assistant or GM? I guess so. It would just be a term. So that's why I'm like, well, I can't say he wouldn't be. So just as the GM term. So take it for what it's worth. But, I'm still not 100% sold that the Oilers need to go down that path, even if it's false that that's not part of his agreement to come back. The one thing, and I will say this about Stan Bowman, that probably hasn't been talked about enough is the work he's done with Sheldon Kennedy. And because, hey, you can make an error. We all err. It happens. And you can show genuine remorse and want to learn and grow. And that's what Bowman has done. I'll give him a lot of credit for that, because a lot of people don't. Right? You say, oh, yeah, you know what? I took this course and I'm good. But no, he's and reaching out to people in that community and Sheldon Kennedy. Obviously, everybody knows what happened to him under Graham James. Gross predator. And just, to understand it and how it works, and that it's not just about, 20-year-old males should never have that happen to them, right? Grown out, no, well, you're strong enough. It's not how it works. So my understanding is he has done a lot of work in that area, which, that's what you have to do. But you can't just say, oh, I did my time and now I'm back without really wanting to learn and grow from it. So my understanding on both fronts, that's been working. So there we go on that regard. Still waiting, looking forward to this game. I saw the crowds tonight. There's going to be heavy Argentina fan base, which doesn't surprise you, right? They travel pretty well. And it just shows you the importance of Copa Americas, right? Like Euro Cup, everybody, the Euros are great. Well, Copa's just as big. Like, honestly, it doesn't, and it's kind of nice that finally in North America, it's getting the same conversations that Euro is for long time, as it should be, right? There's lots of good countries in Copa America. Like Brazil's not even in the semifinals, right? So it's a good thing. I think it just shows you you got a lot better teams and countries, and Canada is definitely growing. So 833-401-1440 is our text line, 833-401-1440. A few other things we are going to discuss today. We're going to have, we'll have kind of a what if it's Wednesday in the offseason. We'll still do periodically with different guys and gals for Who Is It Wednesday. But we're going to go over different scenarios on Wednesday's show in the summertime. Just what if, and I think we have a question tomorrow that's really going to get people fired up. Just fired up to have an opinion on it. Do you think it's the right move? Would it be the wrong move? We'll get to that tomorrow. So, hey guys, what's your thought about Evander Kane? Well, I've said this many times, and here's how I envision the opportunity for Kane. He is going to try to rest and rehab first, which is the wisest thing to do. If you can avoid surgery, you will do it anytime. First and foremost, your body's never really the same. There's always a slight risk. So if you can rehab it, they'll do that first. The challenge to me is going to be, how do you find enough rest and rehab time to then be able to train properly to be ready when the season begins? And so I think that's going to be his challenge. You got to rest and rehab, and then you come back. How healthy is he going to be? Is he ready? Did it solve the problem? Right? Because if you're not in the game, you can move around. Because I know a lot of times people, I saw the guy walking out of the rink, he should be able to play. Well, no, you can walk. Doesn't mean you can play playoff time or even regular season in hockey. Very different. So that's kind of where I see it happening. Now, they might know by August, if not, the rest and rehab is working. And then they'll have to look at the next step, which obviously would be surgery. He's hoping, they're hoping, clears up, comes to camp, ready to go. Now, if he does, once the Oilers have signed Broberg and Holloway, they will need to clear out some cap space. Now, if Kane can't go, LTIR could be an option. Now, remember, LTIR, if he starts the season, LTIR is great. But if he's ready to come back in February or January, well, then you're still going to have to make a move at that point. What it does is it just gives you time to see what happens in that regard. Hey, boys, I'm curious about the NHL's offseason and arbitration. How come so few players are going to arbitration lately? Well, I think arbitration honestly is there as a deadline to ensure you get a contract done. Now, this season, there wasn't lots of, no real high-end players who filed for arbitration, right? Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, Beck Mallenstein, JJ Moser, Jack Drury, Ryan Lindgren. He might be he probably the biggest right? Well, him and Martin Necas, they would probably be the two biggest, right? They each had, I think, $3 million contracts that they're coming off of. So those are the two big ones. After that, there's lots of guys who, Jay Christensen in Columbus, Kirill Marchenko, good young player. I like Marchenko. But, what his number is going to be? Like Oliver Wallstrom. What's his number? Joe Veleno. So usually if there's 14 guys who have filed for arbitration, well, usually most of them settle before then. But the odd case the reason you don't want to go through it, is the what if all of a sudden you go through and the arbitrator rules in favor of the other side. So if you're a team and you're the player, and like when you look at some of these guys who, like Ty Emberson, he was 1 year, he was $775K. Like he files for arbitration just to hope to get a contract for next season. It's not going to be that expensive. It's just that guarantees you a contract. Him and his agent, we got a deadline. Now the deadline's here. We're going to present this case. The Sharks are going to present this. Now, maybe you're really strong-minded and you believe that your case is the best case. Or you meet close to in the middle and away you go. And that's 99% of the time what happens. You don't really want to go through the process. I've always questioned, like if I was an agent, I'd say to my player, hey, you don't have to sit in the room. What's the benefit of you sitting in the room? To hear all the things that they're going to say? Because sometimes, hey, you know what? We like the player, but we don't like this. We don't like this. We don't think he's worth that. Like it's just business. You can't take it personal. So I would probably recommend not to have a guy in there. So, hey, Gregor, I saw Sarah Valley saying someone should offer Sheet Broberg. What are your thoughts on that? Yeah, it's a good storyline. It's good for Frank. He's stirring the pot. But again, I can understand the theory behind it and why a team would do it. But when you look at the teams that are going to offer Sheet Philip Broberg, right? So let's say you offer him what? $4 million, right? Because if it's anything less, that's a real easy match for the Edmonton Oilers. So if you look at 4.5 mil, I think now if you offered him 4.55 or actually 4.75 mil, then you would have to give up 1 second-round pick. Not very much, right? Would you do that for Philip Broberg and you get the contract? Yes. Would the Oilers walk away from 4.75? It would put them in a salary crunch, no question. But I don't think they'd walk away on that just to get a second rounder. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So I think they could easily do it if a team wanted to. Now, if you get above 4.58, which you probably wouldn't do, then it's a first and a third from 4.58 to 6.87. It's good in theory. I'm not sure how realistic it is, honestly. And I think most teams look and say, okay, it's easy for us who aren't involved in the team. So I always try to say, why aren't teams doing this more often? Well, here's why I think they're not. Because at some point, they'll be in a situation similar. So, it's kind of like insurance in a way. Because the last two offer sheets have been Montreal versus Carolina both ways, right? Montreal offer sheeted, Carolina match. Carolina offer sheeted Kotkaniemi. Montreal said, we're not matching. And you get Kotkaniemi, and that's been a disaster for them cap-wise. I like Broberg. I think he's a good player. But how certain are you? Because let's say you offer sheet, if it's only 1 year deal at 4.575, what that sets now is to maintain his rights next year, you have to match that. You have to qualify him at 4.75. So you can get a year, maybe like, well, he's pretty good, but he's not as good as we thought yet. Well, but we don't want to lose him. Well, now we're stuck with him. And that's what Carolina did. And it's a problem. So I think Philip Broberg's trending in all the right directions. And it's easy to say, well, you take the bet. Like easy for fans and even a media person like myself to say, yeah, the NHL team should take the bet because there's no recourse if we're wrong. Like, honestly, how good is Broberg going to be? Honestly, like, I lean towards thinking he could be a number 4. I really do. And maybe he'll be higher, but I think bare minimum, he could be a number 4. Now, he might not be a number 4 yet next year, consistently full-time. It might take another year. I don't know. But I think if you had to ask me what's the minimum you think Broberg's going to be, I would say a number 4, which is great. But it's still a pretty big commitment. So that's why I think teams aren't going to do it. And sometimes, a team reads the situation, looks and says, hey, like I know that Montreal did that to Aho, and honestly, Carolina said, thank you. We'll do it. We'll gladly match it. It's a pretty easy contract. So you have to do it so it's high enough that you can get him. I don't think teams just make an offer sheet in the hopes they don't get him. I think they make an offer sheet believing they'll get the player. So, yeah, I don't expect it to happen. When we come back, Chris Jones, head coach and GM of the Elks. Can they get a win? We'll find out next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Be melon jolly, not melancholy. Summer is ripe for fun, and some Booster Juice bestsellers are back in season. Watermelon smoothies, including the refreshing Watermelon Wave, a berry burst of strawberries, raspberries, pomegranate, and vanilla frozen yogurt, and fan favorites, Watermelon Explosion, a refreshing burst of bananas, mangoes, and pineapple, both made with watermelon sorbet and probiotic yogurt. All of the watermelon, none of the seeds. Visit a Booster Juice near you today, or download the Booster Rewards app.
The locks are on a timer. They're going to get out.
Sounds like jobs for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Service team reporting. With the remarkable reach of our bucket trucks and other equipment, we assess, service, and maintain your electrical lighting and automation systems.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
CW Eves Troughing is busy. That's why they're looking for experienced troughers to run one of their trucks. To get paid top rates, contact CW Eves Troughing at 780-435-1492 or email info@cweves.com.
What's cracking at Cattail? Maybe you've got the next tiger on your hands. Cattail Crossing offers young golfers Operation 36, a program to improve their growing skill set with other golfers their age. To register, email proshop@cattailcrossing.ca.
The sports world never clocks out. Neither do we. Sports 1440 has you covered with Fox Sports tonight after 9 and all weekend long. So when you're ready to head home, we're warming up again. Sports 1440, bringing you an all-star performance every day.
Move Water is your one-stop shop for all things water. From freshwater to wastewater, we've got the pumps and solutions to keep your water moving where it matters most.
Move Water, your water solution experts.
Visit movewater.ca today.
Employee pricing is on now at GMC. Right now, get up to $11,300 off select Sierra 1500 Denali Ultimate Crew Cab models. With employee pricing, combined with Sierra's 6.2-liter V8 gas engine, 13.4-inch diagonal premium infotainment system with available Google built-in, plus available Super Cruise hands-free driver assistance tech, there's more reasons than ever to celebrate this summer. Hit it! Oh yeah! Ask your GMC advisor for details.
NASCAR Canada only makes one stop in Alberta. And that one stop is Edmonton International Raceway in Wetaskiwin.
The NASCAR Napa 300 is coming July 26th and 27th. Experience NASCAR excitement as internationally renowned racers
like Andrew Ranger, Kevin LaCroix, and DJ Kennington
compete for the national championship on our paved oval track. Tickets are moving fast.
Get yours at edmontonraceway.com.
Some people see their RV as a way to travel the countryside and explore the great outdoors. For others, it's more like a summer cottage. Sure, it's got wheels, but that doesn't mean that you have to roll it around all the time. And I know someone who uses his RV exactly like this. It's Rick Showers from No Bull RV. Hey, Rick, when was the last time you hooked up your trailer and took it somewhere?
Been years, Bob.
You just leave it in one place?
Well, you have to see our campsite. It's near Seba Beach. There's lots of privacy. It's a heavily wooded area, but very close to the lake, with full water and electrical hookup. So my wife, Deanna, and I enjoy cottage life with all its beauty and all the comforts of home.
And the RV you use as a cottage, did you buy it new?
Bob, what are you, nuts? I can happily find you an RV as nice as mine. Got dozens of them on the lot right now. And Deanna and I are living proof that you don't have to pay new RV prices to live the dream.
And that's Noble.
NobleRV.ca.
Albatross Roofing and Construction is hiring experienced flat roofers and sheet metal fabricators and installers in Edmonton. Must have FBS modified bitumen experience and valid CSTS certification. Enjoy top wages, benefits, and career growth. Apply at roofingalbatross.ca. Join their expert team today.
.221. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube, and Facebook, is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game right now. And also it's Tuesday, so you know what that means. Lotto Max, $50 million up for grabs at PlayAlberta.ca. As let's get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by the Hockey Super League, a premier hockey solution with a clear path for long-term development, offering borderless hockey, including provincial and cross-province competition. Visit hockeysuperleague.ca and sign up today, as we are joined by the head coach and general manager of the Edmonton Elks, fresh off of a bye week, and man, is going to be hot practicing as they get set for Sunday against the Ottawa Redblacks. Chris Jones joins us. Coach GM Jones, how you doing?
Hey guys, how are y'all doing?
Hey, I'm doing pretty well, man. This must be like, this is like a normal summer weather for you. You're probably like, hey, this is great. It's going to be a heat wave all week.
It feels like home, you know. I mean, I think it's about 90, 95 right now with about 90% humidity down there, but it becomes almost unbearable in the summer down there.
Oh God, I can imagine. Now, when you have this hot of temperatures, and I know you're going to play in it, but it's not going to be 37. How do you monitor your team in the practice? Did you have to change it up for tomorrow? Do you just go earlier in the day? What's the strategy for your guys to ensure that it doesn't wear anybody out too much before the game?
Yeah, we'll go the same time, you know, that we normally do. We have designated times that the league allows us to practice, and so we'll be going regular time, you know, start meetings at 9:00, but we'll have water in every single group, and then we'll take water breaks, you know. But you have to, if not, especially the big guys, they have trouble making it through if not.
Chris, you look at your season. Obviously, you're not happy with your record. It's 0-4, and I know there's no moral victories. Your team's been close in every game and haven't found ways to win. As the coach, what can you do in hopes that will change? Like, what is the bye week come at a right time, or is it the wrong time? Like, we're actually playing well, we just can't win. How do you take a team that finds ways to lose to become a team that finds ways to win?
Well, you know, we've been on winning teams for a long time. You know, we've done a lot of work and built teams in the past, and so I think you just stick to your guns, you know, what you've done in the past, and keep working, and then eventually those things will start falling your way. I mean, we've been in, you know, two games that are on the last play, and then 3 games that were field goal games. And so basically one play here or there is all we're needing in order to end up on the other side of this thing. And so we've just got to continue to know that we've got good players, we've got good coaches. We just need to keep working and cut down on the mistakes.
So, and it's being, Chris, kind of like key mistakes at key times, right? And from different guys, right? You look at, and some of the mistakes sometimes maybe just missed execution. Like, you know, Bethel Thompson had 2 guys wide open, and if he hits one of those, especially to start the third quarter, that touchdown to Cobb, it might be a totally different game.
Yeah, I mean, McLeod, he's a good player, but he's not without fault. He'll tell you the same thing. I mean, he's got to play better. We can't turn the ball over and things of that nature. I mean, those one play here or there are the difference in ball games.
You added a few new players, Chris, to the roster this week, some experienced guys, specifically on the defensive side of the ball. Are you expecting a few of them to come in the lineup?
Yeah, we'll have to see, how the week progresses, but we brought them here to play, and a couple of them have been, all-stars in the league and guys that have played a lot of football. So we look forward to seeing what they bring to our team. Unfortunately, we lost Alfano for the year, and so we're having to do some shuffling up front defensively, and that made us reach out to Oak.
Yeah, so Oakman comes in. Derek Moncrief, of course, has been here before, was in Saskatchewan. I saw a few players online saying, like, the guy really understands the game. So is it easier because they're two CFL veterans that, 2 practices along with all the film work since you signed them, that you'd feel confident that they would know enough about the defense to come in and play?
Well, Oak played for me in Toronto, and then, the other young man, he played for us in SAS, for a long time. And I mean, so the nuances of the defense, they already kind of have been in before. They know how we practice, they know how we prep, they know how we watch film. I mean, so it's not going to be uncommon for them.
Yeah, I know Moncrief feels the system fits well for his style of play. So, I don't know if players just say that or if you coached him. Do you believe that certain guys fit a system better?
Well, I mean, Creef's a good blitzer. He's a good tackler. And, people have been running the ball on the perimeter, and so we've got to be able to get off blocks. He's a big guy, and like I say, he's a savvy guy. He's been a good player for a long time. He's played at the highest level. He played in the NFL and been a good player in the CFL. So, and the thing is, I mean, we've known him, like I say, for 8 years now. We've known who he is, and we know what his work habits are. We know what kind of person he is, and so we feel like it'll be a good fit.
Chris Jones, head coach and GM of the Elks, joins us. They're back home in action Sunday, 5:00 kickoff against the Ottawa Red Blacks. Chris, how you got Geno Lewis, and last game he had three balls thrown his way, 1 catch for 6 yards. Can you just say, hey, we got to get our best receiver more involved, or does he need to do more to get involved?
Well, I mean, we certainly want to try to get him involved if we can. A lot of times, sometimes the defense will dictate that the ball go away from him, and so they take him away by numbers, and so we've got to do it. Try to do a good job of putting him in formationally and trying to get the ball to him, because, like you said, he's a very good player.
How would you evaluate your special teams through 4 games? Not field goal kicking, but just like your cover teams and your return game.
Well, I think we're first on kickoff drive start. We're first on kickoff. We're first on punt. And we're first on net punt. So we're doing pretty good. Analytically. Mm-hmm. Quite honestly, if we hadn't made some mistakes, we would be real far out in front. If we don't jump off sides on the one kickoff, we trap them at the 19-yard line late in the game. So therein lies one of the mistakes. Because then the very next play, it's not a 5-yard penalty. They get the ball to like 35, so it turns out to be a 13, 14-yard penalty. And so giving them better field position with them needing a field goal. And so, I feel like we're doing pretty good. I think there's still a lot left in the tank as far as what we've got special teams-wise. Boris and 9, they're certainly hitting the ball real well, and we've got to do a great job in our return game. I think we're 3rd in one and 5th in the other. And so we've got a really good returner. We just need to, give him a little bit more of a chance to get out in the open field.
Well, the reason I asked you about that is because your cover teams have been great. Like, you haven't given up very much. And like, your return game hasn't been bad, Chris, but as you mentioned, you've got a weapon back there. So when you're watching it, is it just guys, are the lanes there and somebody's just not getting their proper block, or teams defending you well thus far? What differences would you like to see from your return game?
Well, certainly we would like to have touchdowns and things of that nature. And, that's what everybody's looking for in the return game. We've had one call back this year because of an illegal block. And if we had that one, we'd probably be first in the league, because everybody's right there, as far as yardage, it's all like 1 or 2 yards difference, So, I mean, we've got to, we just got to remain steady with what we do. And then we've got about seven rookies or 6 rookies, that are playing special teams for us. And they're still learning, on the run. And so, but they're playing fast. And like I say, I mean, we've competed with some very good special teams units. And speaking of the Ottawa unit that's coming in here, they're coached by a special teams guy, and they're very athletic.
Chris, when you look at, the record of your team and you say, hey, you know what, we're playing well, but we have to keep going. How do you, sometimes the dam finally breaks and then the wins come, but it's hard getting that first one sometimes. And, you've mentioned the key offside from a veteran guy. I can't remember the last time he went offside on a special teams play. That just shouldn't really happen. And you've had a few of those. Is it more of a mental game than physical for you right now with your team to try to get a win?
Yeah, I would say yes. And I mean, even with the coaching staff, because you do everything that you can do to try to put your guys in position, and you call the things that have been successful in the past. And then, statistically, you're right there, 400 yards, 350 yards to 350 yards, that type of thing. And so it's not like, you're getting outclassed, but then when you need to make a play, it becomes kind of tough to do, especially late in the game. I mean, you watch the CFL games as closely as I have, I'm sure, and all these games in the CFL, there's tons of parity, and you're going to have to play till there's zeros on the clock in order to win games. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. And so it's something that we just got to keep working with and remain positive, because I can tell you this, there's no quit in this group.
Looking at Trey Ford, Chris, the new rule changes allow you, if you want, to have 2 quarterbacks on the field at different times. And I know it's not going to be a regular occurrence, but have you thought about it? Is it something that you might try to see if that can be an added jolt for a few plays here or there?
We've spoken to Trey. Trey does not want to, be involved in just package type football. So it's something that, he and I have visited with both last year and this year. And so we'll remain with what we've got. When he comes in and says, hey, you know what, just whatever I need to do, then at that juncture, then we'll utilize him.
Now, being the coach, though, can't you just say, hey, I want to use you in this package, go on the field, or no?
Well, I mean, it's you're talking about a quarterback, so you wouldn't want to use a quarterback as a receiver and that type of thing, because, I mean, it's not what he does. He plays the quarterback position, and so it's a little different animal.
Now, with the new formation, though, couldn't he essentially be a quarterback, just that they don't know who's going to get the ball headed to him, right? Or is that still considered a package?
How can you explain to me how that would benefit you with 2 quarterbacks standing in the backfield?
Well, I guess because the defense just something that they're probably not used to. I don't know. I'm curious.
Yeah, no, it's like I say. I mean, we've tossed around a lot of ideas and stuff, and we don't want to just use him primarily as a runner, because then people get to tee off on him. And if you remember the second game that he played, he won his first start in Hamilton as a rookie, and then we came back the next week. We ran fake speed sweep with a quarterback counter, and that's when he got his shoulder the first year. And like I say, I mean, the kid's going to be a great player for a long time in the league, and I don't want to just use him as a running back because then people get a chance to tee off on him, and he's not the biggest guy in the world. I mean, so we've got running backs that get paid to run the ball. And so, when the opportunity comes to play Trey, when the opportunity presents itself, we'll play him. And I know he's going to be prepared. He had really good weeks of prep leading into the season, and as well as we've gone. So he's a good guy, and he remains ready to play.
Chris, from a coaching perspective, is there a way for you to tell that you're seeing the advancements in his game only through practice reps, because he's obviously not getting into games? Is it that noticeable from your vantage point?
His touchdown to interception ratio, that's kind of where he's got to improve. I mean, he's won some games, and he's won some games with his legs. He moves around, and there's probably not another quarterback in this league for sure that's as good an athlete as he is. But at the same time, the touchdown to interception ratio is like, even. You can't throw interceptions at as high a rate as he does in order to win games, because the turnover ratio and the turnover battle is how you win and lose games. So we've got to get him, better at protecting the football, and he has done. He's come miles from where he was a year ago. And you figure, the kid only played 20-something, CIS football games, and so he's going to do nothing but get better. And I always compare him to Zach Claros. When Zach came into the league, it was 3 or 4 years before he really got an opportunity to be the guy. And when he did, he wasn't great then. And then all of a sudden, he's Zach Claros now, and that's years and years later. Vernon Adams is another really good example of a guy that struggled early on in his career with both completion percentage and interception issues and turnover issues. And now look at him. He's one of the most dynamic, if not the most dynamic guys in the league. So Trey Ford, if he continues to develop and stays true to the work habits that he has, he's going to be a very good player.
And last one for you, Chris. As the general manager of a team right now, and everybody knows they're going through the negotiations of a sale, and there's likely going to be sold to an individual group. It's going to become a private business. Has that impacted at all what you're allowed to do as a GM?
No, that's pretty much outside my purview. That's an upstairs kind of thing, and Rick and those guys are doing all that, and we're not privy to what group or whatever that's going to be potentially the owner. But I've worked with owners before at other places, and it's good. These people, if they're willing to invest that type of money into the team, that they love the team, they love the league.
Coach, appreciate your time. Best of luck Sunday against Ottawa.
Thank you so much, man. We look forward to it. It's going to be nice weather, and look forward to getting back out there and attempting to get the first win and getting things on track.
All right. Appreciate your time. That is coach and GM of the Edmonton Elks, Chris Jones. So at this point, Trey Ford has said he doesn't want to be part of just package deals, right? Specific. Hey, you come in on in this package, whether it's runner. But I guess my counter to that is, can I say, why can't it be that you're in for some, passing packages? Doesn't just have to be running, does it? I get that they're 0-4, and I know the numbers suggest that they should be better than 0-4, and so maybe they're preaching patience. But at what point does the patience run out? And it's like, hey, Bethel Thompson has lots of good numbers, but the one that's the most important is 0. So to me, you got to get a win, and you got to get a win soon if you want to stick with what you currently have. When we return, speaking of a win, not a lot of people are expecting the win. They're the clear underdog. But the underdogs have won before. Can Canada pull off a big upset? What needs to happen? We'll break it down next. Canada, Argentina. And I think, is it fair to say this is the biggest game in Canadian men's soccer history to this point? Can you think, anybody out there think of a bigger one for the men's program? I can't say the women's because obviously they're playing the gold medal game in the Olympics, pretty big. Has there ever been a bigger game?
No, I don't think so. The first World Cup game in a long time was great. Winning to get that first goal was great, but no, this is going to the Final Four of a tournament.
Yeah,
this is it. This is massive.
And you're going up against the number 1 ranked team in the world right now, Argentina. So yeah, it's a pretty massive game.
And Gregor, just on the bigger landscape of this, we're starting to see more and more players getting looks from European clubs now. According to reports, Derek Cornelius and Bombito, French clubs looking into them now. So just furthering the game, getting these guys who are playing at MLS.
Dude, they get huge exposure. Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
All right. And they're playing against better competition. Oh, this helps the program massively. And I think there's a big pride factor there too. So, which is great. Quick break. We'll come back and we'll set that up with Steiner on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Scott from Sherwood and St. Albert Dodge. It's our final clear out of classic Ram 1500 trucks, and I do mean final. This is your last chance to get 25% off a brand new Ram truck. We still have some inventory left, but when they're gone, they're really gone. Or get an iconic Jeep Wrangler with up to $7,500 off. 0% financing available on every model. And we have a couple of the rare 500 horsepower 392 Wranglers in stock now. St. Albert and Sherwood Dodge, Edmonton's best rated Ram and Jeep dealers.
Rule number 62, never miss a free pay.
Miss you again, whatever you are. It's you that I want.
2:44. Welcome back. It is game day. Canada, Argentina. Woo-hoo. Semifinals. Copa Americas. Canada, the underdog, taking on the number one ranked team in the world right now. Argentina, who, you know what, they faced them earlier in the tournament. Loss was, I thought it was a decent game, but they didn't have a great performance. Argentina in the quarters. So who knows? Maybe Canada can shock the world tonight. We will see as we get to our football report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home of the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC unit. And trust me, you'll probably want one this week. It is going to be hot, hot, hot. Go to legacyheating.ca. Book yours today. As we go out to a stadium where North American football is played quite often. But tonight it's going to be soccer. Argentina taking on Canada at MetLife Stadium, live from the stadium from MLS Soccer. Ben Steiner joins us. Ben, give us a sense, first of all. Like, obviously, I saw the videos. There's tons of Argentinian fans outside the building. Is it like a 10-to-1 ratio, 20-to-1 ratio? Like, what's the fan ratio, do you think, going to be tonight at this game?
Yeah, well, pleasure to join you once again. I just got into the stadium. It's hot here. It's boiling hot in New Jersey. I spent the day in New York, but yeah, lots of Argentine fans, lots of Argentine press. I think there's 8 to 10 Canadian reporters here, and probably over 100 Argentine reporters. And I think we're going to see something similar when it comes to the fans. It's an 85,000 person stadium, and I wouldn't be surprised if 80,000 are in blue and white and 5,000 making their voice heard in red and white. But it's going to be a challenge to drain out the Argentina fans for sure.
Ben, you look at this game, and like, I understand why Canada's the underdog. They should be the underdog in theory, but they've played quite well. But now, it's Argentina. It's a big game. It's an even bigger game against Venezuela. And I thought Canada, really were their own worst enemy in being unable to finish. Otherwise, that game could have been 3-0 early on. What do you make of Canada's chances? How are they going to be able to attack? Do you think they're going to be able to generate some offensive chances against Argentina tonight?
I think they will. I mean, you look at the way that Canada's played throughout this tournament, played under Jesse Marsh. They make chances against the best teams. To this point, the problem has been finishing them. We've seen Kyle Larin, get his fair share of chances, and he's yet to get a goal under Jesse Marsh, and that's not something that can happen tonight if he's starting up top with Jonathan David once again. Canada will get their chances. They do create chances, and it's going to come down to the finishing. And in terms of chances, if I were to draw a percent, I'd give Canada a 10% chance. It's not going to be easy. Canada could play the perfect game, and it might not be good enough. That's what Jesse Marsh said. But when you look at this Canadian team, they're not one that's going to sit back. They're not going to defend. They're not going to play for penalties, because I think, if you go to penalties with this Argentina team, Dibu Martinez net is probably the best penalty saver in the world. But when you look at this Canadian team, there's an opportunity here and a team that can certainly do it. Now, it's the World Cup champions. It's the Copa America champions. It's not going to be easy, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's not going to happen.
Ecuador scored the first goal that Argentina gave up in the whole tournament in the quarterfinals, right? They'd shut out, their opposition in the first 3 games. What is it about their defense that is so hard to penetrate?
Every player on the field is generally better than the opposition player, right? When you look at, players 1 through 11, maybe Canada has one better, and that's at left back with Alphonso Davies. But there's just, they win the individual matchups. And, you saw that in the Stanley Cup final with Florida and Edmonton, where, it was who won the individual matchups on the night. Where did the star players show up? And, when you have 11 star players out on the pitch, most of the time you're going to end up winning that battle. And that's how Argentina does it. They defend really from the front. All of their players are committed. The one player that might not be committed, his name's Lionel Messi. And if you're going to have a player that isn't necessarily committed to defense, you'd probably be happy with him on your team. So it's a team effort. It's a collective approach. And it's a goalkeeper that is among the world's best, if not the world's best, especially when it comes to penalties.
So you look at this, you talked about the starting lineup. Is Kone starting tonight?
I'd like to see it. I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't. I think we've seen some good play through Jonathan Osorio, and that partnership with Stefan Eustáquio is certainly burgeoning. But if Canada is to play their best, it probably has Ishmael Kone in the lineup,
has to be.
as well as Jacob Schaffelberg. I think that's another decision that Jesse Marsh has to make, is whether Jacob Schaffelberg or Liam Miller in front of Davies on that wing. And that those two decisions are going to be critical. I think we're going to see the same attacking pair when it comes to Jonathan David and Kyle Larin, as much as I think that a guy like Tanya Loeshi or Jason Roche deserves a chance over Kyle Larin, given his form. But I think we're going to see something pretty consistent. And if Canada's to play their best, it has Ishmael Kone in the lineup.
Yeah, I think Kone's got to be, and I would agree. Like, to me, Schaffelberg, I would start him over Miller. Just, he added so much energy. He had a little bit of a rat factor, and I say that in a compliment. And like, he was always around the ball, right? And he was involved in the game, and I think he just elevated the emotion. And obviously, the goal was huge. Don't get me wrong, but I felt like he really kind of got Venezuela a little bit out of sync at times. I really liked his play in that game, and we wonder how much he can build off of it. I'm sure the coach has other strategies. Like for you, Ben, who follow more closely than I do, what would be the reason why he would start Miller ahead of him?
When you look at the way that Alphonso Davies and Liam Miller played, particularly against Argentina in that tournament opening game, they were very solid in defensive transition, because when you have a player that's in an attacking realm like Miller, and then you have Davies who's an attacking fullback like that, having them overlap meant that one of them was always defensively responsible, and they're both very skilled going forward. And that allowed Canada to have a bit of a different approach. But then they subbed Schaffelberg on in that game for the last 25 minutes or so, and he's not necessarily a player that you're going to trust defensively like Liam Miller, who was playing fullback a lot for Preston North End in his club season. But Jacob Schaffelberg is a guy that can get behind defensive lines. He can beat someone to the ball. He is, as fast as any player in the world right now. He's in match shape with Nashville. He's in good form with Nashville. He's got a daughter on the way, weeks away from having a daughter that, he's riding a massive confidence high right now. And I think, having that, as well as what he can do to unlock defenses and get behind solid defensive lines is going to be important for Canada. So that's why I would like to see Schaffelberg, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Miller, just because I think it's a little bit more defensively solid against a team like Argentina.
Ben Steiner joins us. He is live at Met Stadium getting set for Canada against Argentina. Just over 3 hours from kickoff tonight. That Lionel Messi guy, he seems to be a pretty good player. If you're Canada, I know they came out and said we're not going to shadow him, and I probably think that's fair. So how do you feel they can slow down the offense and not allow Messi, to be a significant difference maker in this game?
If you look at that first game, Canada played nearly perfectly, and there were 2 moments, Messi moments, and they lost 2-0. That is the type of player he is. There's not much you can do. Hundreds of coaches, hundreds of defenders across the world over the last 20 years have tried to shut him down, and they've done so unsuccessfully. That if you're going to focus too much on Lionel Messi, you're not going to win the game. You have to focus on Argentina as a team and getting your best team performance. That, Messi's going to be a special player. He's going to make an impact, but you have to trust your systems in shutting down the whole team and shutting down Argentina's midfield. Because if you commit too much to Messi, then Alexis McAllister is going to come out and make an impact. Every one of those players can thread a ball perfectly. They can weight a ball nearly perfectly. Messi does it almost every time.
Yeah.
So you can't necessarily commit to a player like that. The saving grace for Canada is Messi's not 100%. He picked up a knock earlier in the tournament, and he will play. But there's maybe not that 100% Messi as we would see otherwise.
Ooh, any other lineup changes for Argentina?
It doesn't sound it. Whether it's Lautaro Martinez or Enzo Fernandez up top, both are clinical strikers, and Martinez has been playing well so far. Of course, made a big impact against Canada, and wouldn't be surprised to see him get into a bit of a pushing and shoving. Maybe him, Rodrigo de Paul, and Richie Larea could get a little bit heated, but I don't think there's any other injury concerns. I'm sure the various Argentine journalists sitting around me will have other information, but from what I know, there's no other injury concerns other than Leo Messi.
And lastly, when you look at the importance of this showing so far for Canada, win or lose tonight, they get to the semifinals. Like if they lose, it's, I guess if they get blown out 6-0 or something, then maybe it'd be different. But, if they lose a game and they play very well, there's nothing to hang their head on. Obviously, there's lots of money coming to the federation because of this. Will be great. Hopefully they use it wisely. But even for individual players, Ben, Kone's got a deal signed. There's some other guys. Looking now, teams in France, like just the overall opportunities that this is going to create for a lot of these Canadian players.
It's opening a lot of doors for some of these young Canadian players who might not be, the 18-year-olds of the world. We haven't seen the one 18-year-old on this team, and that's Luc de Fougerolles with Fulham. Of course, he's already in a European setup, but when you're looking at, center backs, Bombito and Cornelius, Matt Chinetti from TSN reported earlier that, we're looking at multi-million-dollar transfer fees for both of them to the Colorado Rapids and Malmö in Sweden. So, these opportunities to showcase yourself don't come very often, and Canada, pretty much players 1 through 15, 16 have risen to the moment. And so there's nothing lost by getting eliminated tonight, which, is the likely result. And that's going to be something that they're going to have to overcome. They're going to try to make that happen. But also when you look at this tournament, there were 16 teams that started. 4 were going to play the maximum amount of games. There's a bronze medal game in this tournament coming up against Colombia or Uruguay, another quality opponent in the lead up to 26. And, at the start of this tournament, the importance of qualifying for this tournament, getting these moments, getting these, big games at initially Mercedes-Benz in Atlanta and now MetLife in New Jersey, to have these moments, there's no better prep for the World Cup. And the project is 2026. It's not win Copa America. But they're not so far off. Maybe they could do it. And if they get past Argentina, they'll certainly believe they can.
Oh, God, it'd be crazy if they did. One last one, and as far as Alphonso Davies, there's a few times that, him and Miller in that second half where, they had the setup for the give and go, and then Miller just never got it back to Davies. Like, with his speed and skill, do you think Canada has to, they got to have guys, just a little bit crisper to get him the ball to see if he can expose Argentina a little bit tonight?
I don't think so. I think that's a part that we would see from Alphonso Davies in the past is, his ability to take on defenders one-on-one and create those moments like the goal we saw in World Cup qualifying against Panama. But when you look at how Canada has to play to find success now, it's having Davies as a very good left back, not having Davies as the only player on the field that could do anything. So if he can play his role as a very good left back, as the leader of this team, which he's very much grown into over this tournament, and that's another major takeaway is, Canada has an outright captain, and it is Edmonton's Alphonso Davies. And he's grown into that leadership role for these tough moments, these big moments that, he has to be the best player in a team and not necessarily the team, if that makes sense.
Ben, enjoy the game tonight. Should be a hell of an atmosphere, and lots of people will be watching. I know there's lots of excitement across the country as people get set for the biggest game, I think, in the Canadian men's soccer history.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting, and just the scenes at home, I'm looking forward to seeing some of those as well.
Yeah, should be awesome. Thanks, Ben. Enjoy the game.
Awesome. Enjoy it too.
There you go. That's Ben Steiner joining us from MLS Soccer. He's at MetLife Stadium, Canada, Argentina, where it will be a heavy Argentinian crowd tonight. But hey, the Canadians, they love being the underdog. Imagine if you could silence the crowd. If Canada could somehow find a way to score the opening goal, now it's not going to silence the crowd. Obviously, the crowd's going to get loud throughout, but it would be huge. You would love the storyline. Obviously, I know the odds. I think we all know the odds tonight, but that's why you play games. And in Canada, they played well. They have a recent loss to Argentina. They can go over, hey, what do we like? What didn't we like? What are we playing better? And I really believe that Canada's, and now, just like in hockey, scoring's a skill, and it's hard. And the best finishers make it look easy. I know a lot of people say, well, look at the net. It's not hard to score. Oh, yeah? You ever played elite soccer? Trust me, it ain't nearly as easy as it looks. If it was, there'd be tons of goals. And so Kyle Larin, who, last year, Kyle Larin was scoring huge goals, Connor, for Canada on a regular basis. He's just got to get back to that and finish. And same with Jonathan Davies. That you need him to Jonathan David, to when you're in all alone like that, you got to find a way to score. So you know what? They've had some really good chances here the last few games and probably deserve more goals than they've scored throughout the tournament. And maybe tonight's a night where Kyle Larin can get back to being the guy who was scoring huge goals for Canada previous 18 months.
Yeah, Gregor. You've talked about it a lot in hockey, right? Sometimes goal scorers don't get criticized for not finishing. In soccer, they do. You have that job. You're only going to get maybe 1, 2 good games, 3 opportunities. If that, you have to bear them when you get those chances. The game against Venezuela, they had many chances where they should have probably found a way to finish. If they can get those goal scoring touches back, then I think this could go a long way for them. Obviously, it's going to be tough. Argentina won 2-0 the last time these two teams met. Probably going to be a few more goals for the Argentine side. But hey, you never know what happens, Gregor. That's why they play the game. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, should be great, man. I'm looking forward to it. Where are you at? How many of you maybe haven't watched a lot of soccer, but find yourselves ready to roll tonight? I know there's a few watch parties. Well, there's definitely some watch parties. Get to On the Rocks if you want to watch the game tonight, by the way. It'll be packed in there. It's a great atmosphere. They've had all the games, so they're not just jumping on board now. And I know there's a diehard group of fans who go there. So if you want to go and just watch it with people, get really fired up, which makes it more exciting, and check it out OTR tonight. Let's get to the con man. And a Sports 1440 update brought to you by the Hockey Heroes Society. They have their charity golf tournament featuring NHL alumni, including our very own Terry Ryan. Will be teeing it up, all in support of the Hockey Heroes Society, as well as the Whitecourt Boys and Girls Club. Gets kids playing and being athletic in sports, which is huge. So it's a golf tournament with a gala dinner. It goes September 6th for the dinner, and the golf is on the 7th. Learn more at hockeyheroesgame.com.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
It is game day. Canada taking on Argentina at the Copa America semifinal in New Jersey. This one gets going just after 6 o'clock. Earlier today at the UEFA semifinal, Spain knocks off France 2-1. Tomorrow you'll have England taking on Netherlands. That one gets going at 1 o'clock Mountain Time. In the majors, the Blue Jays kicking off the series against the Giants in San Fran. First pitch set for 7:45. Further today, Cards and Royals postponed due to rain in the St. Louis area. They'll make that one up tomorrow. Elsewhere, Padres take on the Mariners. Brewers up against the Pirates. The Twins in Chicago to take on the White Sox. Astros host the Marlins. The Athletics meet the Red Sox in Boston. Reds up against the Rockies. Yankees in Tampa. And the Dodgers take on the Phillies. The Edmonton Stingers back at home tonight, taking on the Calgary Surge. That one gets going just after 7 o'clock. And the Riverhawks kicking off a road trip out in Wenatchee. That one starting 8 o'clock local time. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by our co-host and former NHLer Terry Ryan, also Dave McCarthy from Sirius XM NHL. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Yes, it's Sports 1440.
Oh, I don't even know if I thank you, but thank you for covering me.
Oh, man, stop. Anytime you can. Don't even think twice about it. Don't even think twice about it. We joked around a little bit about what we did. Hardest jobs to work outside. Ooh. Did I ever work out? Yeah, a little landscaping.
That's a good question.
Okay. I should have paid my 5 questions just to
Grade them?
Yeah.
Well, or I thought don't reuse anything.
Oh, that's good. But I didn't pick up. It was wait, I'll tell you what they were. First one was thoughts on the Raffle Wall extension.
Yeah.
Does Crosby have a name his price point at this point in his career? Third was how many games do the Elks win in their next 7?
Okay.
Fourth was a sports moment that made you say wow. And the fifth was tennis Mount Rushmore.
Ooh. Serena.
Yeah, Gregor had Serena as well.
Nadal. Oh.
He was there as well.
Man, I'm so modern though. I like
The best players
Bjorn.
are all modern, to be fair. Like I have one who's not modern. Margaret Court. She was an Australian tennis player. Bad person, hates gay rights and stuff.
Oh.
Bad person, but good tennis player. Really good
Wow.
tennis player.
That was the question, right? Billie Jean King.
She was good too. She was really good. Beat Bobby Riggs and battled the sexes.
So you mentioned Lavoie. I should tell you both. I asked Jamie yesterday if he could come on Cartmel, and he said, so I don't mess it up. Says he's not available till Thursday. ... Eye roll emoji. Probably already busy packing for Bakersfield.
Well, we can get him on Thursday.
Yeah. God. I must have rubbed Jamie the wrong way.
Rolling through, it is game day on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Hello to everybody watching the show there on Twitter. You streaming it, man. Our streaming numbers at sports1440.ca are up, and up. So we love that. And all of you listening, probably got your AC on if you're driving around right now, or maybe it's got old school windows down. I was going to say you rolled your window down, but that obviously, unless you have an old school vehicle, you're not rolling the window down. It's a lot. Just, you know what? Like, you hit the button, it's not the same as when you used to have to roll it down. There's just something about it. It's hard to explain, but it was money. I do remember the first vehicle I had that didn't have, the roll down window, and I kind of felt like, wow, I'm in a real big. It was a Dodge Daytona, and it was one of those cars. It was like my second car I had, maybe third, and it was one of those where it spoke to you, right? Your keys are in the ignition, or your door is ajar, and very simple things. But thought it was like I was driving Kit for a while. If you know, you know. If you don't, I can't explain who Kit is. I don't. We're past that point now. Gregor Show is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Get in the game. Hey, yeah, you like a little underdog? Whew, well, there's a good underdog tonight in Canada, baby. You believe? See what happens. Should be fun. Let's get in a gentleman who I think at one point in his athletic career I think he made the provincial soccer team, and not as a water boy, as an actual player. Former NHL author, stars as Ted Hitchcock in Shoresy. And our regular Thursday co-host, Terry Ryan, joins us. TR, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Excited for Canada-Argentina tonight, to be honest, speaking of soccer.
We're going muscle shirt today on the show, eh?
Hey, not only that, look at this. Kalamazoo wings. This is my dad's from 1972.
Oh, my God. And the number 9. That thing's in really good shape for 1972. Yeah. Holy
the
cow.
Material, I can't explain it. It's great. It's like real. It's very much like the a lot of the training, the cool kind of material. It's ahead of its time. I've never seen anything like it. But he wore it. They played basketball, and that's how they did. Okay, when I asked him, I said, you guys must have trained something. I know it was 72, and I know like you took the summers off, but something. So I mean, he played sports in the summer anyway. But he said, they all went down like a couple weeks early, and went through a bunch of sports. Like they actually played basketball, like training, like we would go through a combine. Anyway, this is the jersey they wore.
I like it. I like it a lot. Now I know soccer, of course, is kind of you had two loves as a young athlete, soccer and hockey. So you watched the Canadians men game, TR. You pretty I know your daughter's playing soccer, right now. I think she has a game later tonight. but how into the match are you tonight, Canada, Argentina?
Oh, good. We're looking forward to it. She's got soccer at 7:30 our time. I think the game's at 9:30. So we're going to head out we're going to order a pizza and take it all in. Usually we do with it, whatever side, if any excuse to watch some soccer. She's an up and comer now. Like I said, it was a huge passion of mine. I played all three growing up: soccer, baseball, hockey. And I was, Low Mount Pearl, the team I was on was a lot of athletes. And it kind of reminded me of Kamloops when I was out that way. I don't know if they're still that way, but real like athletic, family oriented sports driven community. So we just had we were into everything. And but of three of it, if you can believe it, I was more into soccer for a while there. We won the Atlantics. I never did that in the other sports. I was MVP of the Atlantic tournament one year. We won 3-0 at a couple. This sounds very braggadocious. I'm just telling you, I was very, very linked into soccer. That was my main. I loved it in the summertime, getting outdoors. There's something to that. I still love hockey, but I never, ever liked going to the rink and putting my gear on. Tried to think the other day of how many hours I've put into like tying up my skates. I always hated that, but I love the pre and post game in soccer.
Oh, yeah, you know what? Who didn't love orange slices as a kid playing soccer? That was like the go-to thing, man. I loved it at halftime. Like, obviously there was, I love playing soccer too. I was never a great dribbler. I was a good finisher, but it could not be a midfielder because I could barely dribble. But I could shoot with both feet, and I could run. So that's why I enjoyed soccer as a striker. Was not a defender by any stretch of the imagination. I watched, I was really into that game against Venezuela. That's as excited I've been for a soccer match for the men's team ever. And I loved it. And so I'm very much looking forward to watching the game tonight. And I know that they're a big underdog, but my God, if Canada can somehow keep that game close, if they can just finish their chances, because they should have been up 3-0 in that Venezuela game. If they could just finish their chances, they might have a shot tonight.
Yeah, that proved a lot to me watching. You get the chances, right? As long as you get not as long as, but we all saw the same thing. This team can bury. Now, I obviously, sorry, not can bury, but if they can create chances like that, then they're creative on some kind of a world level. It's very new for Canada to be where we are here. And Argentina, I mean, these are the things movies are made about, just even if they can just hang with them. But they already have. I mean, I know that Argentina's probably could have finished more, but that's it. They already have. They've at this point shown a great deal of pride and wearing that jersey and respect, focus, and determination. We're all watching. They've got a big tournament coming up in a couple of years. So to me, this is a great precursor. This could have gone either way. We don't really know. And even right now, it's a success. It's a terrible way to look at it, though. Even though you're an underdog, come on through. Anything can happen. And the game that I saw against Argentina, hey, yeah, they were good. They were great. They're the best team in the world. But you know what? We were hanging and banging for most of that, and I think it says a lot for Canadian soccer that we all get to watch this tonight.
Oh yeah, should be a lot of fun. Since we talked to you last, TR, the Oilers make a trade. Ryan McLeod moving on to Buffalo along with prospect Ty Tullio for the 9th overall pick in the 2022 NHL entry draft. Matthew Savoy, who's from St. Albert, right outside Edmonton, and this guy averaged 2 points a game. I don't care what league you're in. You're in the WHL. Yeah, you're a 19-year-old. 2 points a game is still 2 points a game. He had 71 points in 34 games last season. What do you make? I look at this trade. Buffalo gets a bona fide NHL player. Ryan McLeod's going to have a 10-year career. Mark my words. He'll be an NHLer for 10 years. He's smart. He skates very well. Yeah, I get he's not physical. I understand it. But he'll be in the league because of a lot of the other things he could do. Now, Savoy, I don't know if he's going to be an NHLer. I get he's a high draft pick. Right? Size is a disadvantage for any smaller player. But when you have that much skill, like you played in the WTR, and 2 points a game is hard to do. I don't care what team you're on. I don't care who you are as a player. It's difficult to do. The Oilers, to me, it's just about make sure that they develop him properly. And for me, this year in the American League, it's all about opportunity in your top 6 and power play time. Let him play to his strengths, which is having the puck.
Yeah, I agree. And I found out about this one. I was just hanging with a bunch of buddies. It's great, by the way. I was at the Prince George Cougars alumni fundraiser, and we raised a lot of money for healthcare in various different aspects of that in the area. And for the Cougars, it was a lot of fun, man. So just anybody listening, I know that a lot of people listen to the show. I talk with them. Thanks again, guys, for having me out there. It was an awesome time. So found out about that trade. First of all, I can see it from Buffalo's point of view. A lot of people think it's lopsided, and maybe so. I guess we're going, though, and like you said, even 2 points a game, you still don't know what's going to happen. I love the possible upside of Savoy. I really do. But Ryan McLeod, I'm telling you, I don't think we saw his full potential yet. He's a regular NHLer. If nothing else, they have a regular NHLer that just is going to gain experience. He's young as it is, just made the final. I fully expect him to be better next year than this. And I saw a hell of a lot of a potential, especially offensively with that speed. There's things he needs to work on. I think a lot of it is that second effort in front of the net and things, but it's all doable. Like those things, it's not like you can't skate backwards or something. I don't know. To me, I think Buffalo have a reliable NHLer that seems to be good in the room with a good attitude. They didn't lose big time here, and you never know. Maybe Savoy doesn't turn out. I'm just saying from that other side. Now, what I think about Savoy, yes, I think it's perfect. I didn't really see it happening because Buffalo need a top 6, and I would have been like hoping. But he comes over, and I just think there's, like you just said, there's no need to rush him. I don't think the organization nor Matthew himself expects to be thrust into the first line right off the bat. There's lots of time to work with a guy who's already extremely creative. We know that. Right now, he's going to be learning. He's going to be up and down, even if it's just camp. He's there. He's learning off guys that were just in the Stanley Cup final, and have a hell of a minor system as well. So honestly, I think it's one of those things that might be able to work for both teams. Again, I'm kind of scratching my head from Buffalo's point of view, but there's more about McLeod that I like than I don't, and they got a reliable NHLer. So if you're a Buffalo fan out there, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, like obviously the risk for Buffalo is that you're trading a potential high-end offensive player, right? Now they have a boatload of guys similar to him. They just had Zach Benson. They've got Noah Ostlund. They got Isaac. Those are 4 guys all drafted in 21, 22, or 23, and they're all 5'9" to 5'11" skilled forwards. All right, so I guess now Edmonton goes in there, and hey, we'll take the local guy if we can, and that's part of the trade. And I think Buffalo, their GM's on the hot seat a little bit. They got to make the playoffs. This is his 5th year. They actually went backwards last year. His first year, they were terrible. Then they, 75 points, then up to 91, but then back to 85. Now, they got to get in, I think, or he's probably done. It's just that's the reality. It can't be 5 years, I wouldn't think, where the owner's going to be like, well, what are we paying you for, man? Like, our team hasn't really improved. We got to get to the playoffs. So I think he looked and says Ryan McLeod will give them a better chance to help them this year.
Agreed.
And that's what they're focusing on.
Yeah, I totally agree from that point of view. And I think that's a completely logical point of view because they did. I mean, I thought they dropped the ball last year. I expected a lot more out of that team. And with so many young prospects that just seem ready to have career years. So one side of me, it might seem a bit selfish. People have brought it up because you're right. Kevin Adams, he'll be let go if they don't make it this year. But I can see where he's going with this. And, everybody wants to protect their job and make the team better at the same time. So I think he did that. And I don't think their moves are over. And again, we're looking at it probably more from the Oilers angle than anything. And the Oilers already having made moves in the offseason to add some great veteran presence and depth to a team that already was in the Stanley Cup final. I think they're better. I guess that's an argument. I think they're better right now. And not only that, now they're padding their minor league team or their prospect squad, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I think it looks great if you're an Oilers fan. And the fact that they're even doing this right now is astonishing to me, that they're continuing to make moves to improve the club.
Hey, boys, Struddy's going to cancel last minute. He's going to get all intimidated by Terry's muscle shirt, JR and Red Deer.
Red Deer, there you go. Go Rebels.
Struddy doesn't like the muscle shirts. Oh, it's a classic. Oh, so funny. That was one of his greatest rants of all time. God, I laughed. He doesn't like
the muscle shirts.
He doesn't like guys wearing muscle shirts. He's got some weird quirks, man. He doesn't like guys wearing muscle shirts.
Obviously, his wardrobe. So outside of the muscle shirts, he wears some weird.
He has no muscle shirts in his wardrobe.
What's the reasoning?
He doesn't feel like he needs to see that much. Yeah, but you got to remember, Strud's a never nude, right? He's yeah, exactly. I like to say that you're on the same page. Oh God, we had a lot of fun with it. But yeah, he's a never nude. He's can't. So yeah, he just too much skin for him. It gets him all frustrated. So.
How about taking his shirt off completely? Because if he takes it off completely and he doesn't like muscle shirts, then there's just no depth to anything.
Well, they're actually, it's funny you say that, TR, because there is a picture of him in the room when the cameras were on when he was shirtless, and I do like to point that out to him. And he's like, "Well, I was young then." I'm like, "Well, yeah." So
I mean, young then. Yeah, okay, but still, you're making a statement.
I think he's saying that right now. Maybe he thinks he's a little soft. He doesn't like how he looks without a shirt on. I'm not sure. We'll have to ask him in about an hour's time.
If he doesn't like skin showing, then why would he wear those awful pants with you know what I mean? Those flood pants. But before now it's hip and cool. Hipsters like to wear the tight, skinny jeans. Yeah. A lot of them, and in the NHL, you put on your suit. Obviously, the bottoms are up by your shins. That's just the way it is now. But before this semi-coolness and trendiness of the whole short pants thing, Struds was doing it when it was completely unpopular. And there's just as much on those legs. He's got some big, long legs on him. There's just as much skin showing there as there is right here on my shoulder. And of everything, he got nice shoulders. I can't speak for his face or his receding hairline or his legs. I mean, they are long, but they're quirky. but he's got nice shoulders, and he doesn't want to show those off. I don't understand it.
Well, there you go. Well, we'll have to ask him about his. Who knows? Maybe he's changed his mind. Who knows? Although I did have a really funny meme about big. They have there's Big Pharma and all that. They're just like, well, what about Big Chapstick? Because they basically just suck you in because it becomes addictive for you. And Struddy is the ultimate. I don't know, TR. We might have to play it to you once. I don't think you've ever heard it. Next time you're in Edmonton, you'll come in studio and we will play you probably the greatest interview we've ever had on the show. Which might show that we have a really low bar. I guess it depends how you look at it. But Kathleen McGee, right?
Yeah, I do actually. She's great. Yeah, I find her really funny. Yeah.
So I
know she's going through something now.
Yeah. So we had Kathleen, who's a good friend of the show. He called in pretending to be a doctor, and because we were talking about addiction to chapstick and how it's a legitimate thing, and there are some actual inflictions, the skin irritations you can get from it. Dude, we had him hook, line, and sinker for a good, and then Kathleen, of course, just kept going farther and farther with it, and it was so funny. So one day we might have to get you to hear it because honestly, that's probably my second most memorable interview. Tracking down Kendra, the girl who stood him up at the bus depot, that was probably my favorite. So,
okay, I got to hear these. And by the way, I'm going to finish with this. Okay. It's 30 degrees here today in Newfoundland. It's not normally 30 degrees.
It's 33 here today right now. 34.
Okay. So the point is, this is the first time you've seen me wear one of these.
Yeah, right? I know. Yeah.
So,
I was like, hey, I'm
not embarrassed to go with the weather. You know what? Yeah. Sometimes the way it's 30 again degrees, 33 where you are, I'm not below swallowing my pride and wearing one of these. So Struds can be uncomfortable in his sweater or whatever he likes to wear on days like this. I'm going to go with the flow, go with the weather.
Yeah. Hey, the muscle shirt today. Honestly, this is the day where anybody, men, women, because it's not illegal. If you want to go tarps off, whatever, because it is so hot anyway to try to keep you cool. I'm all for it. I remember one summer at our old station when the AC conked out and we had to do our show in there, and there's like glass windows behind you. There's no blinds. Like, dude, it was like, I might as well have been in a sauna doing the show. And then literally I was like, now we weren't on video back then, but I was also in a little bit better shape at that point. But I was like, I don't care. I was tarps off. It was unbelievable to do the show. It was the only way I could survive. So yeah, I'm all for it. You know what? Thankfully the AC is working in here today, but I still, even with the AC on, I still feel the heat, so I might have to.
Yeah, but you just started working out again, right? Baby steps, walking, jogging, whatever it was.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's honestly, I'm like a geriatric getting off a chair right now. Too much leg day, but that's all right. I got back on the bike today, and that really seemed to break up a little bit of the lactic acid, so it seems to be a little bit better today. I'm not. There's no stick where I'm walking, so that's nice.
Beautiful. Well, you know what? You ease into it. It's about the stiffness at first for guys our age. It's the stiffness. I say to people, it's not so much the pain. It's I can't take much time off anymore, and it's like a car that's not well greased up. You know, the doors and the wheels, and you just got to you got to get your body at it, and it gets easier by the day.
That's what she said. Quick break. We'll come back. Dave McCarthy will join us on Sports 1440 Orders Nation YouTube and Facebook, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The cheesy burger pizza is back at Papa John's. See what happens when you ask for it? Boom! Finally, it's on the menu again for a limited time. Get all the items in the Cheesy Burger Trio or choose between the large Cheesy Burger Pizza for $18.99, Cheesy Burger Papadilla for $9.99, and Bacon Cheesy Burger Papa Bites for $8.99. All made with sizzling beef, dilly pickles, ooey gooey cheese, and burger sauce. That's right, burger sauce. Get it before it's gone. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better get you some Cheesy Burger Pizza at Papa John's.
There's still time to book your tournament at the Ranch Golf and Country Club.
As one of Alberta's top tourney courses, the Ranch makes hosting fun and easy for any group or business. No matter how unique or unusual, they'll accommodate your vision for an event no one will soon forget.
Start planning your tournament today at their beautifully landscaped course on the outskirts of West Edmonton. On-site event coordinators are here to help, but hurry, availability is limited and booking fast.
Visit theranchgolf.com.
The Bricks Appliance Super Sale is here for all your home outfitting needs. Check out amazing deals on all major appliances, like chest freezer starting at just $199 and washer and dryer packages for under $1,500. Plus, shop incredible deals in other departments, like up to $920 off sofas and sectionals. This summer, the Bricks Appliance Super Sale has got you covered, whether you're looking for items as big as a fridge or as small as a kettle. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is still the #1 company for families who don't want to see dad in his underwear. Come on, we warned you about a heat wave a while ago, and lo and behold, here we are. So call Legacy now before the heat wave convinces dad to cool down in a kiddie pool in your front yard. Yeah, we've still got air conditioners in stock, and yes, you won't have payments or interest for 1 year. Keeping dad from bathing in public during a heat wave. That's how you save your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Are you afraid of losing your car or home due to debt? Don't let fear or shame hold you back from seeking help. Bankruptcy is not the only option. A consumer proposal can reduce your monthly payments, lower your overall debt, and allow you to keep your assets. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I'm here to help you tackle your debt. Take the first step towards regaining control of your finances. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
.327, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Terry Ryan, of course, along for the Tuesday afternoon ride as we are about 2.5 hours away from Canada, Argentina. Tonight, the semifinals of Copa America. Woo-hoo! Should be a fun game, man. Hey, you're going up against the #1 team in the world. Just imagine. Imagine the upset. Imagine if you're a player on that team. And you get that win tonight. You send home. They're predicting it's 85,000 seat stadium. It's sold out, and I think it's going to be probably 75 to 80,000 Argentinian fans, and the rest are Canadian fans. So pretty strong. What's that? 1 out of 15, basically. So imagine sending them home. Oof, be huge and massive for the program. I think this is how you gain a lot more interest amongst people watching, which is great. That's what you want. And win or lose tonight. I think Canada, this is a huge showing for them. And then, of course, the next one will be the World Cup. And now the new World Cup format, even harder. You might only play 2 matches, right? That's what's difficult. It's not even guaranteed 3 anymore. So we'll get to all that. But first, we're going to go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. And how about this? It's hot out. You can get a $1 cone. You can get a $2 caramel sundae. Well, you can get other kinds too, but I like the caramel. Or you get a $2 milkshake all summer long, only at McDonald's. As we welcome in from Sirius XM, our weekly Tuesday guest, Dave McCarthy. Davey, how you doing, my man?
Good, boys. What's going on?
Hey, not much. So we've got TR. TR is a muscle shirt guy. It's plus 30 degrees where he is. Dave likes to have a few extra buttons undone. Right. I love it. It's like the 70s chest hair. It's fantastic. Do you ever go around? Are you a muscle shirt guy, Davey?
No, that's not my routine. I can't pull it off like Terry. So if you can't pull it off, I think you stay within your lane, and then you're better off that way. Never deviate, because then you'll look foolish. So okay. I stay within my lane. That's not my lane. Terry, I can't come close to what you're able to pull off with the muscle shirt there.
That's merely confidence. That's merely confidence. And you've got sleeves. When you say you stay in your lane, is it sleeves? You're always outside in that mecca that is Huckleberry Finn paradise. but do you wear sleeves all? Because I know it's real hot today in Toronto as well.
It is. Well, you see, Terry, and I think Jason and I talked about this last week. I'm Irish by heritage. Okay, so the sun and I do not get along very well. So you see here, I've got, and this shirt has the ability to tie up the rolled sleeves with a button about 3/4 the way up the sleeve. So it keeps the sleeves up, but if need be, I can roll it down if I'm in hot sun, which I have no choice but to do, lest I turn into a lobster, which is not good for you. So I try to have sleeves as often as possible.
Okay, I like it. I like it a lot. Davey, give me your thoughts from an outsider when you heard the trade last Friday, McLeod and Tullio for young prospect Matt Savoy. What did you make of the deal?
Well, I think the Oilers have the options internally to fill the void left by Ryan McLeod. They've got a multitude of different centers. Oftentimes they play them together on a same line with, for instance, Connor McDavid and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins or Draisaitl with McDavid. But they have the ability to play 4 quality centers down the middle of their lineup. And I think bringing in Jeff Skinner, well, now you filled a void on the wing. So you can play Skinner with Draisaitl and, somebody on the right side. You can play Evander Kane if he's healthy. That's going to be the interesting thing. If Kane is healthy, then I think they've got a really strong left side. They can play strong down the middle with the 4 centers that they've got. And I think their right side is pretty sound as well with who they've got. The bringing in Adam Henrique, or bringing him back, I should say, only strengthens the options that Chris Knobloch has up the middle of the ice. So I think it was a trade where they could afford to move Ryan McLeod along for a guy that is thought of really highly in Matt Savoy. I don't think he's going to start with the Oilers this year, but who knows if he takes the AHL by storm. Let's not get carried away. But if he plays well in the first half of the year, maybe he puts himself in the equation to get a call up later in the year. And I would think sooner rather than later, if it's not this year, it's next year, Matt Savoy's going to be a really good player. So I don't think they gave up really all that much for a guy who could be dynamic and could slot into a top 6, if not middle 6 role in their lineup sooner rather than later. To me, it made a lot of sense. And, Jason, right, they were able to divest some money as well, which was something that they needed to do.
TR?
Dave, being just about a week or two away from outside of the draft here, do you think the draft age is good where it is, or does it need to be pushed back a bit?
Well, I think that's contingent upon the schedule finishing earlier than it did this year, with the Cup final going until the Monday, and then we have the awards on the Thursday and the draft on the Friday. That is too condensed. And then the beginning of free agency on the following Monday, much too much jam-packed in essentially a week's time. If the Stanley Cup final had ended earlier, and I guess it went to 7 games this year, so if it had ended in 5, as it looked like it would have, it wouldn't have been maybe as much of an issue. But I still would love to see the Cup final end by, at the latest, June 10th. Then it gives you a week to breathe. Even if it goes 7 games, make the latest date June 10th. Then probably it finishes earlier most years, right? When was the last time the Cup final went 7? I think when the Blues won. So it doesn't happen very often. Then you get a week to breathe, and you can have the draft around the 20th, 21st, and then you can have another 10 days or so in free agency. It spaces everything out. So an unfortunate set of circumstances this year with the way the schedule fell, but I would like to see the draft moved up a little bit earlier prior to the start of free agency, and certainly not so tight up against the ending of the Cup final. It seemed too condensed for me, but I think ultimately, boys, it comes down to the owners in the southern U.S. If they don't want to start the season any earlier, and a lot of these guys that are competing against the National Football League in October and November, that's the reason why they push it as late as they do. You look at the teams in the southern U.S., there are many home dates in October and November. They don't want to be at home when they're competing against the National Football League until those owners show a willingness to participate and play ball and move the schedule up a bit. We're going to end up in a situation not unlike we had this year.
I'd love to see it moved up. I think it should be done in May. It's just too long. Especially if you don't win. Now you got less time to recuperate. You go through the same injuries and turmoil that everybody else does in the final. You just don't get a ring to show for it. I always felt bad for people that make it to that far without getting anything to show for it. Of course, they do get good salaries. But listen, I really want to know this. There must be an underlying answer here. So I saw you posted on Twitter recently about Bing Crosby, and you were pretty enthusiastic, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You dress again like something out of an Anne of Green Gables novel, maybe. You I bet you can quote like James Stewart and Cary Grant. I just know it. Your favorite band, I know in the top 5, it'll be like the Glenn Miller Orchestra, or I just bet you it falls in there somewhere. So what I want to know is that I see many pictures of you with a bow tie on. Now that has to be influenced by something there. There's no wonder you old school is like 70s classic rock. And then like real old school is like Beatles. I know you started to get into Elvis. Most things that you really like predate Elvis, maybe even TVs themselves.
That's right.
So where does your affinity for bow ties come from?
Well, I like the look. It looks, Terry, I always like to operate by the motto, be slightly overdressed, because then wherever you are, especially if you're in a crowd, people either wonder, where were you before this or where are you going next? I am never uncomfortable if I'm slightly overdressed in a crowd. So I'll put it this way. If you want me to quote James Stewart, Terry, I have no problem quoting James Stewart.
I know it.
Right?
I know it.
But you'll laugh at this. You'll laugh at this. And if you saw my tweet today, you'll understand. The bow tie, I can't believe I'm actually going to say this on the radio right now. I've been watching some Gossip Girl the last week or so.
Yes, I hear this. I never got into it. Just the title threw me off. But you have to, yeah.
Terry, I bet if you watch the show, you'd really enjoy it. Okay, like, are you not a fan of Blake Lively? You're not a fan.
I think I'm going to watch it. You know what? When you tweeted that, I went and looked at the premise, and I'm like, okay, no one knows who the Gossip Girl. I kind of get it. It just sounded like something that wasn't in my wheelhouse.
It would sound like I think they probably named the show poorly to get the largest audience they possibly could get. Because initially, you're right. I was the same thing. I'm like, I don't know, watch that. If you watch the show, it's very compelling. Chuck Bass in that show tends to wear a bow tie, and that guy knows how to dress. It just he oozes power and command.
Right.
So yeah, that's where the bow tie came from. That's where the bow tie.
So Dave, if you get in 30 seconds, what would you say? What would be the reason for anybody to start watching Gossip Girl? What's good about Gossip Girl from Dave McCarthy?
Well, if it is a great question. Well, if you've ever been to New York, it's shot in New York, so you can recognize all of the parts. Now that I've been down, it means so much more to me than the when I used to watch before I'd been down. Recognizable parts. It's a show that I can relate to. I can see myself in a lot of different scenarios within that show. And it has a certain presence, a gravitas. You know, Blake Lively, Leighton Meester, Taylor Momsen. If I don't know how you don't like these girls, right? Like that's reason enough alone to start watching the show. But it actually there's something to it. It's not like teen fluff. There's actually some substance to this show that if you start watching, it's hard to turn the TV off. So I'll put it this way, boys. You know you love me, and you'll want to watch that show.
Okay. So is there a lot of gossip in the show?
Yes.
Okay.
That tends to be, that's.
Well, when you think about it, sports really, I know sports is, I always say this, sports is somewhat of like a live soap opera. At times. And obviously women too. But for guys, it's a little bit of the soap opera, trade rumors. Who's going here? What's happening there? Right?
100%.
Like there's a little bit of it in there, so I can see it.
Chris, I tell you this: it's sorry to cut you off, but for people listening that aren't into it, am I wrong in saying honestly? After your tweet, I looked it up. Like no one knows. The Gossip Girl drops this gossip, but no one knows who it is, right? So, because I like gossip, I like girls, but when I heard it, it sounded like a 12-year-old grade 7th. You know what I mean? Like that's just what popped into my head.
It kind of is. So I'm not going to spoil it because they ultimately do reveal who Gossip Girl was at the end of the show, and you will never believe who it is if you haven't watched. So I'm not going to spoil it. The funny thing about the show is they're in high school, at least at the beginning of the show, yet they're out on a Tuesday night in Manhattan ordering martinis, and Chuck Bass walks around with a scotch all the time. They're like 17 years old. So, I mean, look, I know there's fake IDs and all that, but I don't know how you can order a martini in a club in Manhattan at like 16, 17. That's a little bit unbelievable. Oh, I see somebody just texted the chat on the side of the online portion of the show here.
Yeah.
They just told us who Gossip Girl is, so they're
I didn't
right.
see it. I
They're
didn't see it.
correct.
I wasn't
But
looking.
I'm not
I don't
gonna.
want to see it.
Yeah, I'm
I
not
don't want
gonna
to see
say
it.
who
But
it
you
is.
know, there's
Yeah.
just, you know what? I think the big thing that's preventing me from watching is that how closely can I watch 17-year-old girls and feel good about myself? You know, but
yeah, it's the problem.
it's more than that, right? What you're
But-
saying is that it's deeper. It's a high school. There's guys, girls. There's
It
a lot
is.
of gossip, and it's intriguing gossip. That, you know, it's not
Well,
like.
are you saying there's like an
everyone wants to
age
date
cutoff? There
What's
should be an
that?
age. Is there
Well,
like
for
an
me,
age cutoff?
maybe,
to watch
you know,
it?
because
Yeah,
it's
no, I can
good-looking girls
understand.
too.
I'll put it this way: they were older than in high school when they shot the show, and then once you
Yes.
get past the second season, they're into college. So it's
Okay.
yeah, it's,
Okay. All right.
it's a bit different. then.
Okay, well, you know what? I think you've sold me on at least trying it. I'll give it a
Good.
try. I'll watch 3 episodes and let you know.
Please
Well,
do.
Dave,
Yeah.
I'm sure today in our show prep, this was not what you had expected to go down the Gossip Girl. So I'll end this on a sports note,
Mhm.
not hockey though. How closely monitoring you will you be the Canada-Argentina game tonight?
Not very highly. I'm actually resuming my softball career tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Here comes a pulled hamstring right away. Pulled
I
ham-
know.
You're trying to stretch a single to a double, guaranteed.
So we'll see how the calves and the hammies feel tomorrow. But I'll catch the score when I get home. But I have to say I'm not the biggest footy guy, though I am a Canada guy, and that would be pretty special to see Canada beat Argentina. That's a big deal. That's a big deal.
Oh, it's a huge deal for sure. Well, Davey, good luck tonight. You know what? Make sure you put on a little extra sunscreen for the Irish guy when he's well, you'll probably wearing like the full sleeve,
No
full
need.
pants in softball, eh?
That's the only reason I agreed to play. We're playing after sundown at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Oh, okay.
After sundowns.
Oh, it's like
What is this? Well, I mean, who are you, Wyatt Earp? Like, what are you talking about?
Oh my God. I love you guys. This is the best.
Davey, have yourself a great day. We will chat with you next Tuesday.
See you, boys.
Dave McCarthy. Hey, his impersonation was pretty good.
It was. I
Yeah.
just knew it. A lot of people out there, I would bet at least 50% of the audience has no idea what we're talking about when we say James Stewart. When you see him, though, a lot of those movies, he must be, and he's like the he's like the Samuel L. Jackson of between like the 30s and the 70s. He's in every second movie.
Oh, totally was. I do like Dave's strategy though of being slightly overdressed everywhere you go. That's you know what?
And they don't know if you're coming from somewhere or
you-
going somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. It's where were you? I'm right here. Oof,
Yeah.
it's good
And
conversation.
you would
starter.
never really get questioned. No one's saying like, "Why are you wearing a suit to green sleeves?" They just say, "Clearly, he's going somewhere, or he just came from
Yeah.
somewhere." Pretty
Yeah.
sophisticated too.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Then suddenly, you remove the tie, and all of a sudden, the party's on. 3:45. Quick break. We'll come back. We do have a Struddy coming up. Also, we'll get to Ryan's rant, Terry's tales, and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Or lease a new 2024 Volvo XC60 with 0% finance, or save up to $6,500 on select models for qualifying loyal customers. Plus a free 10-year, 1 million kilometer warranty with all demo vehicles. And if you're thinking hybrid, save $6,000 off all 2024 new and demo XC60 Recharge plug-in models. Discover why we're Canada's only 13-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. 1205 101st Street Southwest, or visit volvocarsedmonton.com.
Christensen Communities, the name in active adult living. Enjoy retirement living without compromise. At Christensen, we understand that each lifestyle is unique. We are committed to providing choice through optional dining, personal services, recreation programs, and care plans to suit your current and future needs. Enjoy maintenance-free living and build new friendships in a safe, independent community. Large suites with full kitchens and in-suite laundry, on-site amenities, and so much more. Find out more today about our communities across the province at cdlhomes.com. Ennio and Jason are friends. Hey, buddy! What's up, buddy? Except when they talk hockey. Edmonton had all those first overall picks, and they still can't win.
Yeah, but we still beat you. Battle of Alberta champs, baby.
But ask them who makes the best beef jerky in Alberta, and they'll tell you.
Wheelhawk beef jerky.
It might be the only thing Alberta hockey fans can agree on.
Pick up some Wheelhawk beef jerky today in Leduc, Spruce Grove, and West Edmonton Mall.
Are you an expert in flat roofing or sheet metal fabrication and installation? Albatross Roofing and Construction wants to hire you. Candidates must have SBS modified bitumen experience and valid CSTS certification. Enjoy excellent wages, benefits, and career progression. Submit your application at roofingalbatross.ca today.
Think of us as the opening act for Kevin Carius. This is Jonas Knox from Fox Sports. Join me, Brady Quinn, and LeVar Arrington weekday mornings from 4 to 7. It's two pros and a cup of Joe right here on Sports 1440.
Rule number 41, never challenge a goose in the Bow Valley. They run this town and they know it. Summer in Alberta has its own set of rules. And if you're looking to add a little extra fun, Play Alberta has it all. Use promo code SUMMER to snag a $50 casino bonus for casino, instants, and live dealer with your next deposit. Get ready for promotions throughout the summer to help you make the most of those sunny Alberta days, because we all know they don't last long enough. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
You adore your Audi, value your Volkswagen, baby your Beamer. But some of that love fades when repairs take several days and tons of cash for the dealership to do their magic. Let Cochran's Automotive rekindle the flame. They'll professionally repair your import, usually in one day. Audi, BMW, Mercedes, Volkswagen, Honda, and Toyota. Cochran's Automotive will return her to mint condition. Open at 7 a.m. Let Cochran's Automotive repair your automotive air conditioning before things heat up. Cochran's Automotive, 780-452-5001.
As a business owner, you know that good business is based on good relationships. So imagine, how would you feel if your commercial insurance was driven by people, not products? At High Street Insurance, we've been serving Canadian businesses like yours for 10 years. People, taking care of people. We take the time to learn about your business so we can ensure that your insurance coverage is finely tuned to the nuances of your commercial situation. Good protection starts with understanding you. Reach out to us today at highstreetinsurance.com.
For over 65 years, Denham Ford has been the trusted heart of Central Alberta. We're not just a dealership, we're a tradition of honesty and excellence with honest pricing and genuine service. We've proudly earned Canada's only 51-time President's Award for Customer Satisfaction. Join our extended family and experience the Denham Ford difference. Whether on the Wetaskiwin Auto Mile or online at denhamford.ca, your journey to trust and excellence starts with us. Denham Ford, driving tradition forward.
I never meant to be so bad to you. One thing I said that I would never do. A look from you and I would fall from grace. And that would wipe the smile right from my face.
3:49. Welcome back, Jason Gregor. Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation YouTube and Facebook. TR will join us back in about 12 minutes. Time, we got loads of texts coming in, 833-401-1440. Hey, Gregor, Gossip Girl is kind of like the Bridgerton series. Yeah. You know, I watch Bridgerton. That's kind of the first thing he said to me. I was like, oh, well, that's kind of what Bridgerton was about. I think I'll be honest, I've watched it. I think I've watched like 3 seasons of it. You know, and I'll be honest, I don't watch it just because my wife, but she got into it and I was like, oh, I'll watch it. And I kind of got into it. And, you know, it's very high society back in, in Britain. So I don't know. I kind of like a lot of the Britain shows sometimes. They make me laugh. The terminology mainly is a big one. I don't like the Queen in Bridgerton. She annoys the hell out of me. But some of the other characters I have no issue with. But I will say, like, if you're looking for a good show, that, well, I guess is a lot more aggressive, right? Like Bridgerton, the thing, like Bridgerton has some gossip, but none of the salacious gossip back then is very different than what we have right now. right? I would say it's a little bit more innocent. Cons, have you ever watched Bridgerton?
No, can't even claim to know what the concept of the show is, actually. But my mom has asked me multiple times if I've watched it.
Oh, yeah, I can see it.
She's into it.
Yeah. Now, what about Mayor of Kingstown?
No.
Oh, buddy.
But so
Mayor of Kingstown with Jeremy, that show is unreal.
We're in the process of moving into the new place.
Okay.
And I've got a list of shows.
Yeah.
Because right now it's kind of uncomfortable for me to like crank the volume and really get into things.
Okay.
But as soon as we get into the new place, the basement will be set up. I've got a list. I got to get House of the Dragon. I got to get the rest of Shoresy done. But that's one I do want to put.
No, I'm telling you right now. And of course, the former lead singer of the Headstones, Hugh Dillon, he's in it.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. He's actually a pretty good actor. He's been in a lot of shows. So he has a character. He fits the role very well. Right? Lots of times he's a cop. And but I'm telling you, if any of you out there haven't watched it, I highly recommend it. Mayor of Kingstown. Now it's into season 3, so you'd have to start, but it's there, I think there's maybe 10 episodes in each year, so it's not too crazy. It's a good drama. I quite like it. Renner's great, and it's different than a lot. Like the premise of the show, its background. It's around. It's an American city. Kind of steel town, rugged, tough, and which is symbolic, I think, of a lot of American cities. Obviously, there's a big jail, and that's something where the more I read up on it, like jails are almost like an industry of their own in the United States.
Yeah.
Right. Like you build a jail because it creates a lot of work for people and lots of jobs. And sadly, there's no shortage of people going to jail in the US. So but I will recommend that quite a bit.
Now, is it still going?
Yeah,
Are they're filming new seasons?
That I don't know, but Renner remember he had that big accident.
That's what I was asking.
And no, this season 3, because it was delayed, but season 3 is now after his accident.
Okay.
He's back out. So I would think that I never looked to see if like season 4 is coming while I'm watching season 3, because I don't want to know, just in case. Like, well, I assume another season's coming, right? Like, and the thing that's good, like each year it's the same characters, but there's like a different storyline. So, yeah, I would hope season 4 is coming. It's one of the shows I like. I like it a lot.
That was a bad injury. Like, he's lucky to be alive.
100%.
Snowplow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal I watched the interview with him about it. So be careful out there. Hey guys, I really love McCarthy. He's a beauty from Kings of Fort Nasty. Hey, Davey is a funny guy, man. So I like having him on. It's great. Hey, Greg's, I'm with you. At first I didn't watch Bridgerton. Now I'm totally into it. I kind of like the gossip. She's a great writer. Hey guys, any show by Taylor Sheridan is great. What other Taylor Sheridan shows are there? Like I know the show. It's kind of like, I can know a song. I don't even know who sings the song sometimes, which isn't good. Right? Most of my inane memory comes all around sports and statistics. So I don't know, like what's another Taylor Sheridan show? I don't even know.
So he wrote Sicario, Hell or High Water,
show.
Wind River.
Oh, great movie, I should say.
Then when it comes to
And
TV, looks like he also had a huge role in Tulsa King.
Okay.
That's one I actually do want to watch. 1883 and 1923. So, Yellowstone as well, co-creator.
You know what's, yeah. Now, which one did you say? Tulsa King? What's that?
Tulsa King. That is the one with Sylvester Stallone. And I think he moves to a new city, but he's kind of like a mob boss. People can tell me if I'm wrong. That was just what I remember from it, and I thought that might be good. But there is only one season out right now.
Hey, guys, Tulsa King is unreal from Colombo. Highly recommend it. All right.
Yeah, it looks good.
Okay.
That's another one for me.
Yeah, I like it. Hey, Greg's, Hugh Dillon is still with the Headstones. Did I say he wasn't? Didn't I just say he was the singer of the Headstones? Or did I say, no? Did I say former? If I did, that's my bad. So, did they still put out records? Or albums, I guess I should say. Got to go with the times, Gregor. Go with the times. It would be awesome if someone came out with a record just to go back in time. Sounds better.
Well, it looks like they are still active.
Oh, okay. When was the last time they put out?
2022.
Oh, okay. Well,
Flight Risk.
Oof, there you go.
Not much commercial success, but.
All right. Well, still singing. Good for him. I like it. Hey, Gregor, I have to say it was enjoyable listening to Jones. I'm a huge Elks fan, even though they suck right now. My question is, what did you take of his responds to your question about Trey Ford not wanting to be part of a package. Does that mean Trey Ford is saying no, even though they're offering him the packages? From Dan. Dan's a good question, because trust me, like when he said it at first, and I actually tweeted out the exact quote, so I don't want to, I want to get the exact quote properly for those who the quote was, at this point, Trey Ford has said he doesn't want to be involved in just package type football. It's something he and I visited with last year and this year. So we will remain with what we've got. And when he comes in and says, whatever I need to do to play, then we'll utilize him. Now, Coach Jones did go on to add that, he's a big fan of Ford. You know what? The one area of his game he wants to improve on is his touchdown to interception ratio. Obviously needs to improve that, have more touchdowns than interceptions. Sure. But here's the thing. That could be true. But look at his record as a starter compared to the other guys in Edmonton the last 2 years as starters. Just look at the record. So, yes, you can improve the touchdown to interception ratio. Hey, how about the other quarterbacks include their win-to-loss ratio? Like, what? I get it. And does every package that he's in have to involve him just as a runner? Like, why can't you put Trey Ford in for a few packages as a thrower? Your team's 0-4. Your quarterback play, I would argue, only time this year, but in game 4, cost you the game. 2 throws that a veteran quarterback should make in his sleep were incomplete, and one would have been a for sure touchdown. 3 minutes into the third quarter, that pass to Cobb, if he hits him, he's wide open down the seam. That's a trot into the end zone touchdown all day. So, yeah, I think it's fair to wonder, what about Ford? Now, lots of guys, Anthony Calvillo, Zach Caleros, there are guys who've sat around, and Trey Ford's really young, but here's the difference. Some of the other quarterbacks who played and struggled early, they still got to play. So, yes, did Trey Ford struggle at times? Sure. Made a few ill-advised throws? Sure. But he still won almost half his starts. And for a team that is 8-32 in the last 3 years, 8-32, and I think Trey Ford has 5 of those wins as a starter. Cons will have to go back and check that, but I'm pretty sure it's 5. So Ford is 5-7, I think, as a starter. He might be 5-6. I'll double check. But let's just go 5-6 or 5-7 for argument's sake. 5-7. So that means when he's not starting in the last 3 years, they are 3-25. So 5-7, 3-25. I can see why people are frustrated and saying, why don't you give Ford another opportunity? If you've added better players around the team this year, and I'm not blaming Bethel Thompson, but at the end of the day, wins trump moral victories all day, every day. And they don't have enough victories right now. Not close. Not close. Hey, guys, 5 o'clock start on a Sunday, and it's Dino Day. Being a 32-year-old with the Young's child makes me want to go for once. More promotions like this will help turn things around and get a new generation to the game. I used to love going as a kid. From HVAC Nick. Well, I agree. And you know what? I will give their in-game promotions team a lot of credit. Like, they can't control what happens on the field. Right? And make no mistake, I think there's been a big change and some eyes opened in the organization. They bring in better in-game entertainment, all those other things that go, Dino Day for young kids, 100%. It's a 5 o'clock start on a Sunday. Now, some would say it should be a 2 o'clock start on Sunday. But there's this odd TV deal. I don't know if you even noticed it, but they play games on Sundays at 7 Eastern. And I think it has to do with some website that they're broadcasting on that has like hardly any viewers. Or at least not enough to make it 7 o'clock starts Eastern. Now in Edmonton, it's not bad because it's 5. And if it was BC, it's 4. So you're like, okay, it's kind of like an afternoon game on a Sunday. 5 o'clock, I don't think is bad. I think 2 o'clock would be ideal for a Sunday start, if you ask most people. Right? Because 5 o'clock, by the time you're home from the game, it's 8:30. Now it is summertime, so maybe you can get away with it. But it's much better than a 7 o'clock Eastern start time. Like if you're in the East and the game is starting at 7, that's brutal on a Sunday night. Like, I'm sorry. That's not an ideal time. So I look to me, like if we take it past the Elks for a second, I don't love the direction under the current commissioner in the CFL. I'm not sure there's been the right focus. Like, again, we're still talking about expansion. What? That word should never be mentioned because you can work on it behind the scenes all you want. Stop talking about it publicly because it's yet to happen. It's never even been close. Right? If someone asks you the question, just say, you know what? I have nothing new on that. Next. That's all you have to say. Focus on the 9 teams and get them going better. That's what you need. This expansion talk has been over a decade now. At least a decade. And there's been nothing. Is there a facility? I haven't seen a new facility, Cons. Am I sleeping somewhere that I missed it? So until there's that, what are we talking about? There's no reason. Because it ain't happening. So stop talking about it. It's just wasted time from your commissioner. Wasted time.
And Gregor, just on the topic of kind of unique start times, how about last Thursday in Vancouver, 8 o'clock start in Vancouver. So if you're out east, are you staying up till 10 o'clock to watch the Elks and the Lions? Like, it was a good game. You have 4 games a week. Can we not do a doubleheader on Saturday or even 2 games on Friday? Like, there's some questions I have. They're just kind of easy things to fix. Get that game on a weekend or maybe a little bit earlier so the fans out east can at least watch it.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, you might have to, hey, BC, you're going to have a Thursday 6 o'clock start time. Can you do it once? At least that's 8 Eastern. Could try it. Or sorry, that'd be 9 Eastern. Let's get to the comment of Sports 1440 update brought to you by High Street Insurance. They take the time to assess your commercial situation, ensuring you get the coverage that's finely tuned to your business. 10 years running, locally owned and operated. HighStreetInsurance.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game day, Canada takes on Argentina at the Copa America semifinals from New Jersey. That will get going just after 6 o'clock. UEFA earlier today, Euro Championship. You had Spain doubling up front 2-1 to head to the final. They'll take on the winner of England and Netherlands. Those 2 teams meeting tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Major League Baseball, the Jays in San Fran taking on the Giants. That's starting at 7:45 Mountain Time. You also have the Padres hosting the Mariners, Rangers up against the Angels, Brewers host the Pirates, Twins in Chicago to take on the White Sox, the Red Sox host the Athletics, Rockies in Cincinnati, Rays taking on the Yankees, Dodgers in Philadelphia, and the Cubs, well, head to Baltimore to take on the Orioles. That one gets going in about 30 minutes. The Edmonton Stingers back in action. They'll take on the Calgary Surge here in town. Tip-off in that one at 7 o'clock. And the Edmonton Riverhawks on the road, kicking off the series against Wenatchee tonight at 8 o'clock Mountain Time. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Jason Strudwick, former NHLer, and we'll ask 5 questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440. The KJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Hey, Elks fans.
Jackpot! Touchdown!
Get on the Elks party bus for every home game at On the Rocks for only $35.
Included is a game ticket, round-trip transportation, and a prepaid Coors Light.
Reserve your spot now at ontherocks.com.
And OTR is your go-to for every Euro Cup game.
With $5.25 Heineken.
Their first major trophy.
It's the ultimate
football
experience.
Canadian or European.
Only at On the Rocks.
Jasper Ave and 118th.
We've finished construction of our gamma radiation containment facility. Is it up to code? Is it going to be safe?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Testing team reporting. We test your commercial operations using tools like infrared to ensure safe operation. Trust us to prevent potential calamity before it strikes.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Hey Leduc, it's me, Grant Fedor from Leading Edge Physiotherapy. What you might not know is that I started practicing physio here in Leduc more than 23 years ago. In those years since, I haven't forgotten the kind and welcoming people that trusted me then. It feels great to be back, but I know we have to live up to our promise, and that's to live up to our name. This means bringing a leading edge focus on our environments, technology, communities, and the people who will care for you, like Graham Raymond and Amanda McIsaac, 2 locals who want to make a difference in your life. We're now open in Leduc. Learn more about us at leadingedgephysio.com.
Be melancholy, not melancholy.
Summer is ripe for fun, and some Booster Juice bestsellers are back in season. Watermelon smoothies, including the refreshing Watermelon Wave, a berry burst of strawberries, raspberries, pomegranate, and vanilla frozen yogurt. And fan favorites, Watermelon Explosion, a refreshing burst of bananas, mangoes, and pineapple, both made with watermelon sorbet and probiotic yogurt. All of the watermelon, none of the seeds. Visit a Booster Juice near you today, or download the Booster Rewards app.
CW Eves Troughing is busy. That's why they're looking for experienced troughers to run one of their trucks. To get paid top rates, contact CW Eves Troughing at 780-435-1492 or email info@cweves.com.
The 100% Canadian beef McDonald's Western Barbecue Quarter Pounder is quite the mouthful. So, who better to sell it in 30 seconds than a 100% Canadian auctioneer?
Oh, mercy, it's back. 100% Canadian beef, topped with delicious smoky barbecue sauce and bacon. Who wants bacon? We got hickory smoked bacon strips, crispy onions. Who wants pickles? Not one, down better than 2 slices of processed cheddar cheese, served on a toasted sesame seed bun, and did so for a limited time at participating McDonald's restaurants in Western Canada.
Employee pricing is on now at GMC. Right now, get up to $11,300 off select Sierra 1500 Denali Ultimate Crew Cab models. With employee pricing combined with Sierra's 6.2-liter V8 gas engine, 13.4-inch diagonal premium infotainment system with available Google built-in, plus available Super Cruise hands-free driver assistance tech, there's more reasons than ever to celebrate this summer. Hit it! Oh yeah! Ask your GMC advisor for details.
Whatever the project, big or small, when you need metal cut precisely and promptly, you need Metal Supermarkets. That's right, fast, so you can get it done, then enjoy the sun. Imagine what you'll do with all that extra time.
I've always wanted to try bird watching. So peaceful, so... Hey, a woodpecker. That's my leg! What the actual...
Maybe find another summer pastime, but in the meantime, see the pros at Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for... Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
You get a shiver in the dark, it's raining in the park, but meantime. Sound of the river, you stop and you hold everything. A band is blowing Dixie, double ball time.
408, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. As always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Get in the game. It is Tuesday. You know what that means? Lotto Max, $50 million. Up for grabs at PlayAlberta.ca. We're coming to you live, as always. Terry Ryan joins us once again. Of course, we're coming to you live at the Ewell Studios in West Edmonton Mall. Ewell, of course, your partner in power, supplying the City of Champions and all of Alberta with quality electrical gear since 1975. EWEL.ca. And during the last break, I did a very scientific study. I was just counting the people that come by. Went outside quickly to just to count to see. And I would say it's about a 10% muscle shirt wearing day here at West Edmonton Mall. So, you know what? There's lots in there, TR. Well, you know what? Now, I didn't see a Kalamazoo Wings 1972 muscle shirt in the mall like yours, but, you know, I saw a few. Now, I would say, though, out of the 10%, probably 80% of the 10% were female who were wearing the muscle shirts. So,
and there might be something to be said for being indoors all day wearing one. You know, again, if I'm wearing it for weather, I'm in here. I'm in and out. I'm in and out.
Yeah.
If I was going to West Edmonton Mall for the day, not because Struddy doesn't want me to, or not, but I generally probably would wear a T-shirt.
Okay.
To be honest with you, if I'm into West Ed all day, it's not going to be. You know, I'm guessing they still have air conditioning. So
yeah. Well, but who knows? Maybe it depends how long of a shopper you are.
It
right?
totally does, and I wouldn't do it just for, you know, if I'm out going to spend a lot of time outside. You know, I had my top off in my Jeep today. You know, to me, there's only so many days I can actually wear this. There's only so many days I can take the top off the Jeep, right? So that's where I'm coming from. I guess if I went to the mall anyway, so be it. My tank stays on. But
so when you're tops down on your Jeep, do you wear a hat?
Yeah, I toss this backward. I don't have to. I mean, I got some hair that I can work with there now. But yeah, it's half and half.
All
I
right.
certainly don't wear a hat forwards, but whatever I'm wearing that day.
All right. Okay.
Take the doors off too if I can. Right. I like doing the whole. I got a Jeep for a reason. Then the doors, top, everything, whatever can possibly.
Really? Just strip it right down.
Yeah.
Do you crank the tunes at the stoplight?
I do. Now, of course, when all that is, when the top's off and the doors are off, it packs less of a punch. The sound, I guess, is traveling. But I do. I pump it as loud as it can go. And you know what I generally do? I don't want to seem too stereotypical, but do you know who I had on today for the entire day? I started with the Beach Boys' Pet Sounds, and then I went into just the Beach Boys' greatest hits. It was all day long Beach Boys.
Nice.
I don't do that every time the sun's out. It just seems to me like, they go with the sun. Like, okay, it's more obvious and magnified in like January 3rd when you put on the Beach Boys. It's like,
sure.
What? Who's surfing? What are you talking about? Get that out of my face. But on a day like today, even though I'm in St. John's, Newfoundland, and we're a long way from a surfboard, at least on this part of the island, I just think the Beach Boys and the sun go together.
Or were you cranking Kokomo?
No, of my Beach Boys love, that's probably my least favorite. Now, I'm not trying to be like, give you the cool, trendy answer that, I guess some music enthusiasts would probably give you because it's probably not their best song. It is catchy. It's good for the 80s, but I don't know if someone, I feel bad for people that are getting into the Beach Boys through Kokomo, and there's so many other things. Just Google Brian Wilson himself and the album. You know what? Here, the next movie, I'm not just making this up, but I got the movies queued up. Next movie I'm watching with my daughter is called Love and Mercy. It's a great take on the Beach Boys' Pet Sound, their legacy. I found a lot of biopics. They try to sum up everything in one, like the Bohemian Rhapsody, and I just think it ends up being, there's nice scenes in that, but either cheesy or like it's hard to Queen are the most educated band ever. They all have like PhDs and masters. It's hard. You could do a movie just on that, their college experience. You could do a movie just on Freddie Mercury writing a song, so to try to like envelop it all into an hour and 40 minutes. But what I liked about Love and Mercy, it's a little situation. It's Brian Wilson in the 80s when he meets Meredith Ledbetter, and then it kind of, it takes you on a few of his memories. It takes you back a few times, and it gets into like why Brian Wilson is so brilliant and why the Beach Boys mattered. It's a really, really powerful movie, and even for the lighthearted 60s fans, it'll give you a decent idea, into mental health issues. The guy really suffered from that and how he dealt with it, and it'll really give you an idea of how good they were. And we hear the Stones and the Beatles because they're still out there and they're still relevant. They're still playing a lot. But the Beach Boys had a huge impact on music, and Pet Sounds to me is their masterpiece.
Oh, well, you know what? Good Vibrations. Wouldn't It Be Nice? Little Do Scoop, Surf's Up. God Only Knows. Like, they had some great songs, man. Are you kidding me? That was actually the first ever concert I saw, which, funny enough, was at K-Days. And that's where I saw the Beach Boys. My first ever concert. I was 14 years of age. So I waited a little bit longer to go to concerts than most. And I don't think I went to a concert again until I saw the Hip when I was like 19. So I was not a concert goer as a young guy. I really got into concerts later, probably not until my 30s, to be honest. So
it's really funny you say that. So they were my first concert. My first going into a stadium was Huey Lewis and the News. And but it was that summer. There's a big festival here called Salmon Fest. It was 1988. And the Beach Boys were the first. It still goes on in Grand Falls, my dad's hometown, so we'd all head in. And it was the Beach Boys with John Stamos playing drums. I'll never forget that. But it's wild that we share that. I mean, I didn't really know that about you. Our first concert, there was so many bands, so many people you could possibly see. It's wild.
That's weird. Hey, let's get to TR's Tales, Ryan's Rant. Got a few minutes here, brought to you by Action Electrical. And man, you want to take action on your savings right now. Solar, the heat out there, that thing will just be working overtime, saving you a lot of money. You can get it installed in your home or commercial. Go to actionelectrical.net. Here is TR.
Well, you know what? A lot of people have been asking me. So I don't, as a rule, golf a lot. Although Dennis Baumby just hooked me up with some clubs a couple weeks ago, got me a great deal through the alumni. I believe I didn't know these perks even existed, but I've been doing a lot now. because we go to they're fundraisers. So when people
Yeah,
see
yeah.
me and they send me messages, and an awful lot listen to this show and my podcast, and most people out west that listen to my pod listen to this show. So I feel I might as well answer on here because a lot of you have asked the same question. For everybody else, I guess it's just a nice little tidbit of info. So I don't golf much. Now I'm starting to golf a lot because of these things. So I just got back from Prince George Cougars alumni event. It was awesome. Eric Brewer, Ronald Petrovicki. I hadn't seen him in a while. I played in Tri-Cities with Ronald, and he went on to an NHL career. Married a girl, lives back there now. A lot of my buddies from Quesnel came up that I played junior A with. Curtis Fenton, Chris Spencer, Farmer, Kurt Lowe. It was just great to see these people and how they've grown. And like these guys now, I mean, you know, I still feel like we're in our 20s, but, you know, they were introducing to me their children that are now in their 20s or close to. So it was great. And a lot of people ask, they say, well, you know, you go all the way out there for a day or two. Like, I'm like, yeah. So what happens is that for those that don't know, because this might help you out in your hometown or wherever you are. So obviously I get paid for these things, but I don't, if I go to say speak at an event, that's some corporate event, I have a set price for that. For these things, they're charities. So we generally, when I say we, it's quote unquote celebrities that are, you know, usually hockey players. Lindsay Hamilton was there. I mean, she's a commentator. I mean, they're hockey or they're sports related, right? So,
Sure.
So obviously we do it for a little bit less when it's those things because it's charity. But what happens at these is like, so say last week, I'll get up and there'll be 18 quote unquote celebrities that, you know, you hit a hole and someone bids to golf with you, right?
Yeah.
So usually it hasn't happened yet that this isn't the case, but what normally happens is that I'll get up and someone will bid on me. So that's usually at least 2 or 3 times what I get paid to go there anyway. So they make their money back immediately, right? Otherwise I wouldn't do it. I'm not going to go out there and, you know, go to a fundraiser and charge more money than so generally that's what happens, right? And then, you know, you get people, you get a guy like Eric Brewer that's got so much hockey experience. I mean, over 1,000 games, so much success, Canada and everything else, as well as like locally. It's in Prince George. So there's lots of local guys.
Yeah.
Tyler Broth, guys that, you know, didn't play too long beyond that, or maybe didn't have an NHL career, but locally, you know, you want to golf, you're going to pay a few grand, whatever it is to golf with these people. So that's what happens. And we always have a silent auction and then an auction, right? So I'll bring something. Generally these days, it's, you know, they'll usually have a jersey or something there for me to sign from Shoresy, maybe 4 or 5, you know, maybe make lots of money for, but that's what's happening. So this week coming up, I'll be in Montreal on next Monday. Chris Nyland is the Chris Nyland Foundation, and it's actually the Liam Foundation. But if you go to Chris Knuckles Nyland, look online, and I promote these things. People just see us there having a good time, and you know, if I'm promoting a beer, it's because they're sponsoring the event. If I go to this Knuckles, like usually it goes to charity. So all this money didn't go to the Prince George Cougars, right? Although that wouldn't be a bad, why not fund a junior team? But you know, they put their money into BC North Healthcare, right? So we're going to make money for that. So that's what's happening. So this on Monday, we'll raise money for the Liam Foundation, someone really near and dear to Knuckles' heart, and they'll have a lot of the Habs there. We'll have an auction again. We'll raise hopefully hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so what I'm saying is that if you're local and you want, like a lot of people have reached out to me, the team in Blackfalds, I think, got a team now. And, you know, and a lot of them don't realize how this works. And they're like, you know, do you want to come out and drop a puck? And, you know, we only got this amount of money. I'm going, look, it's all good. I don't want to charge anybody money you don't have. But what happens if you have an event, sometimes they're hockey games. You see me do these like Hockey for Hope and everything in the winter. That's what's going on. So there's potential to now, again, I'm not trying to give you a case for me. I don't care if you hire me or not for these things. It doesn't matter. It's not about that. What I'm trying to say is that these things are more popular than they've ever been, or else I wouldn't be doing them. And a lot of people are starting to realize with the power of social media what you can do. So some team right out there now, you might be hurting. You might be losing your junior team or whatever it might be. I did one in Brooks, Alberta for the baseball team there. So like these things are possible. There's all kinds of, if you're in Canada, you're not too far from somebody that played somewhere in the NHL or the minors or something, some people that are motivational and that might be able to raise money locally. So whether it's me or it's hockey or it's, I don't know, soccer, whatever it might be, you know, there is a way to do it. And if you're really interested, again, I'm not trying to advertise my services. I get enough of these things. I'm sure I'll be set for these for a while. I'm just saying, if you're out there and you don't know how these things work, shoot me a note on Twitter, whatever it would be. You see, I'll check my message. It's obvious on Twitter. It's a lot easier. But if you shoot me a note on Instagram or something, I will get around to it at some point, and I can help you out because the more I go to these communities and I see what happens, the more I'm really intrigued, and I realize that some communities probably need the money and just don't know how to go about doing it, and this is a great way.
420, Jason Gregor and Terry Ryan with you on Sports 1440, and something tells me when TR's there, he'll have a lot of fun. So we might have to get you in town, TR, at the end of August for the Oilers Nation tournament that supports Gregor Foundation. So we'll chat about that.
Yeah, I would love to.
We'll look at your schedule, see how it goes. When we come back, we'll have the muscle shirt wearing TR with the non-muscle shirt wearing Strudwick. Coming up on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Rule number 12, not spending the afternoon tubing on the Pembina. Next, you'll tell us you don't wear flannel. Summer in Alberta has its own set of rules. And if you're looking to add a little extra fun, Play Alberta has it all. Use promo code SUMMER to snag a $50 casino bonus for casino, instance, and live dealer with your next deposit. Get ready for promotions throughout the summer to help you make the most of those sunny Alberta days, because we all know they don't last long enough. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Hey, Elks fans!
Jackpot! Touchdown!
Get on the Elks party bus for every home game at On the Rocks for only $35.
Included is a game ticket, round-trip transportation, and a prepaid Coors Light.
Reserve your spot now at ontherocks.com.
And OTR is your go-to for every Euro Cup game.
With $5.25 Heineken.
Their first major trophy. It's the ultimate football experience.
Canadian or European.
Only at On the Rocks.
Jasper Ave and 118th.
The Bricks Appliance Super Sale is here for all your home outfitting needs. Check out amazing deals on all major appliances, like chest freezers starting at just $199 and washer and dryer packages for under $1,500. Plus, shop incredible deals in other departments, like up to $920 off sofas and sectionals. This summer, the Bricks Appliance Super Sale has got you covered. Whether you're looking for items as big as a fridge or as small as a kettle. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Basketball and hockey seasons are heating up. Baseball is just getting started, and we've got you covered with around-the-clock sports coverage. Tune in for Fox Sports tonight after 9 and all weekend long. Sports 1440 has you covered.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada with sports and entertainment properties including the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility, is open in Nisku, which features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant with a viewing area.
Does your bank do local? We do. When you bank with Vision Credit Union, you're banking with a rural Albertan cooperative that cares about the community where you live. There's no question. We actively support our rural communities at the local level through charitable donations, volunteerism, local team and event sponsorships, and by returning millions in profit shares to our members every year. Does your bank do that? We do local. Bank with Vision Credit Union. VisionCU.ca.
Have you lost control of your debt following unexpected car troubles, home repairs, an illness, or a divorce? You're not alone. Life happens. My name is Parveen Middleton, a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton, and I'm here to listen to your story. Every day, I craft personalized debt relief solutions to help people like you regain control. Take the first step now. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to book your free consultation.
Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Terry Ryan, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. It is game day, about an hour and 35 minutes from face-off. Well, not the face-off. The opening whistle. Canada, Argentina, Copa America's semi-final. Oh, Canada a little bit of an underdog. But if you like the country, you want to bet a little red and white, go to playalberta.ca. Let's get to Spreads On today, brought to you by VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. They are, of course, Canada's number one Volvo dealership with 13 years running. Excellence Award in sales and service. And right now you can get a boatload of great deals, including a free 10-year, $1 million kilometer warranty on all demo vehicles right now at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com as Jason Strudwick joins us. Struddy TR is wearing a muscle shirt today. Are you going to be okay?
It's not my favorite, but he's pretty wiry. I don't like when the big buff guys have it on. I just think it's too little. You got to show a little something, keep a little something of imagination. TR doesn't have much to hide.
Okay, you know what? That's an answer. I was wondering what your reasoning was. That's as good as any, and that is true. But why not? Of all the things, I kind of like your shoulders. You don't show those off?
No, I keep just people like, ooh, I want to know what's underneath there, right? Just a bit of a reveal, right? A little bit of just a teaser every now and then, and they keep them guessing.
You're talking purely style, though. It's 33 degrees where you are. You're going, no, you got to go style first. Like, it is sweltering out, but I got to put on my shirt.
I don't remember the last time I wore a muscle shirt. Maybe when I played for Archbishop McDonald in grade 12 basketball. Almost led the team single-handedly to a championship, but we lost.
So, but you'd be more comfortable just wearing no shirt, correct?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Then I've got really long arms, and I think it just doesn't look right when you have a muscle shirt and really long arms. Yeah, there's a couple bumps on those guns, but nothing that really is anything worth showing off, especially anymore.
Yeah, well, no, that's fair. Yeah, it's almost like an indented speed bump. That's not good. What, Struddy, I haven't talked to you since the deal. What'd you make of the McLeod trade?
Well, I couldn't believe it. I at first, I know Matt Savoy, and I actually worked with him, and I didn't make him better for sure. I just tried not to make him worse. And I really liked him. I remember at that when he was younger, he was only like 14 or 15, maybe. I really liked his intensity of practice, the way he listened. He was just committed to getting better, and he was fast and smart and skilled. So, I've kind of from a distance followed his career and his draft and all that. And then, to hear that come down, I'm like, hey, what's the deal? Like, is there a catch here? Like, what, is he injured? Like, what's going on here? Ryan McLeod, I think he's a bottom six player. The offense just hasn't come. I don't really see, he doesn't get a ton of chances either. You're like, oh, it's going to break through. It doesn't seem to be there. So I think he's a third line center. When the Oilers win a Stanley Cup final, he's a fourth line left winger. So, he's a bit of a cap casualty, but to get Savoy back, who I think instantly becomes your best prospect, is a great thing. So Savoy is, his entry level starts now. He's a cheaper player, but there's a huge top end potential there. Now he's got to work through it, and just like everyone, he's got to grind his way. and to figure it out and to make it happen. But I just think it was a really smart trade in a situation where you need to get rid of cap and you get back a really good prospect. So I was thinking, well, what's Kevin Adams of the Buffalo Sabres? What are they thinking? And why is he trading him away? So it feels like there's a catch, but it sounds like he's excited to be here. There will be opportunity here when those two big contracts, Leon and Connor, come down. So I liked it. I was excited for the Oilers fans.
Yeah, well, I think Adams is looking at it. We need a proven NHL player. Like Ryan McLeod's going to play 10 years in the league, Struds. I agree with you. He's a third line player. And he'll play in the league. I don't know if he'll ever be more aggressive. He's never really been that player. So I'm not expecting guys to change. It's not what he is. But they needed NHL players, proven guys in their bottom six. And that's what he is. And they got a boatload of young prospects who are similar size, and Ostlund and Benson and Savoy. And so I think Edmonton probably said, well, we'll take the local guy and the guy who averaged 2 points a game, and we'll see how it pans out. But I'm curious, Bakersfield the last few years, Struddy, I don't think they've had a huge emphasis. Like, it's all about, hey, you got to earn your ice time and everything's competitive. I get that. But I think my understanding is there's going to be a little bit of a change here. I think you're going to see not just gifted ice time, because I think that's too extreme, but I think they'll maybe have longer rope as far as, we need our young guys to play a little bit more. And I think Savoy, he'll be in the top six, and I firmly expect him to be on their first unit power play. And they'll probably split 2 units there. It's not like they got a number one unit in Baco, like they have a number one unit in the NHL. And that's what I think you're going to see more. I think you're going to see heightened minutes and heightened opportunity for the young players moving forward.
Well, I think when Holloway and Broberg went down, my understanding is that they played a ton.
Yep.
Now, they were playing really well, right? Mm-hmm. But there's a difference. I think there's guys that you think can be NHL players.
Yes.
And there's the guys and you need to be NHL players. Like the Oilers, if Savoy can come through and be a top 6, top 9 player for this Oilers team, that'll be a huge windfall, especially in the short term. As there's going to be some tighter cap situations, hopefully with those new contracts. So, they need him to develop. You're right. They don't gift them. I think there's has to be conversations if things slide or what he has to work on. But I'd like to think that, between, Gretzky, the GM of that group, the coach, and the guys around it, when he does get sent down, say, these are what we need to work on, a clear direction. We're going to put you in these situations. You're going to work on these things because we need you. We need you, but there's no guarantees and there's no promises, because this isn't, we're not the San Jose Sharks. This is a team that you need to earn your spot. But if you are able to develop, there is a spot in our top 6, most likely at some point moving forward, or at least in our top 9. And you're going to play with some pretty good players.
I have a question. I'm going to change the speed, and maybe this goes out to both of you guys. Struddy can lead. So a lot of people are talking lately with this lack of hockey, in my world anyway, about the Four Nations Cup. Now, I don't understand why it's only 4 nations, but because of that, I think it's meaningless. Why is it only 4 nations when Canada and Switzerland were just in the final of the Worlds? Because to me, it takes away from any legacy. A, why is it only 4 nations? B, let's just say Connor McDavid goes there and scores the winner like Lemieux did in 87. Is it going to matter to his legacy? That's just an example.
Struddy?
I'm going to be completely honest, guys. I'm not really that excited about that. It doesn't really resonate with me, or I'm not super excited. I go Olympics, Stanley Cup, Olympics, probably World Championships after that. And then Four Nations Cup, or whatever. It doesn't get me too excited. Now I'll probably watch it, but I won't be, getting up in the middle of the night if I need to watch these games. So I'm probably the wrong guy to ask. To me, it's like a mid-season tournament that I don't think it really means that much. Sorry.
Well, the reason, the Russia scenario is why it's only 4. That's a big reason why.
But there's still more countries that could compete other than Russia.
Well, I think because it's easier to have 4 based on the shortened schedule. The majority of NHL players come from those 4 nations, right? So that's a big factor in all of this. And they didn't, because if you put in Germany, you're asking, there's a lot of non-NHL guys on the German team. There's a lot of non-NHL guys on the Czech team. There's a lot of non-NHL guys on the Swiss team. And I'm not sure if those other leagues would have agreed to bring their players in at that point. right? So I think that's a reason why the NHL. This is kind of like an NHL showcase, guys. Let's call it what it is. It's going to be the NHL's best guys, and they come from those 4 nations, and that's why it's going to be. I think because it's been so long since it's been best on best, when it comes here, people are going to be like, all right, like Struddy, you don't have to worry about getting up in the middle of the night because all the games are in North America. So you'll they'll be in the good time zone. And will it have the same effect as the Golden Goal? Well, no, because it's not Olympics. But you know what? If it's Canada, US guys, I'll tell you right now, it's going to matter because whether it's, who cares if Russia and them aren't there? If Canada and US are in the final and they're head to head, it's going to mean a lot to Canadians. I think people you'll be surprised at how you feel when it's Canada versus US because it's still the best of Canada and the best of the US going head to head.
Okay. So let me say this then. Okay, I see what you mean. It'll be fairly intriguing to see those guys play each other. But again, I'm going to use 87 as an example. You saw the best players playing with each other. It was great. Gretzky to Lemieux scores. But there was like 10 teams in that tournament. Like everybody had a chance.
Yeah,
like,
but
this is what I'm saying is it's not going to matter to a legacy, is it? If half the league's not even there, there's great players, and I'm not even just saying Germany. I'm saying why isn't the Czech Republic there? Slovakia, Switzerland. I mean, you're not going to embarrass. You might get the odd win.
Yeah, well, because they don't have enough NHL. But would they be in the final, Terry?
They have a World Cup in the summer that actually everybody. Well, I just find it weird. Yeah.
Yeah,
like World Cup. I'm with Struds. Like in that list, it's just the World Cup or the Canada Cup would come in there if there was one. This, like when people say, I don't want to play the Olympics because I might get injured. I don't understand that. I'd want to go to the Olympics, but I would understand not going to this stupid mid-season 4 Nations Cup. Get me nowhere near it. I wouldn't want to be near it. I guess it'd be nice to wear my country, but I just think it's in the middle of a season as well. I think there's just a lot that can go wrong for something that I'm not interested in at all.
Yeah, I think, but you got to remember in the Canada Cup in 87, which everybody loved, there was only 6 teams, right? And Finland was brutal, right? Like Finland, but Finland wasn't like they were in the tournament, but they weren't really competitive. And so what you remembered was the final because it was Canada, Russia, and they were the 2 best teams, and it was a best of 3, right? That's to me, the one failure they have here is that the final's only 1 game. And you're not going to be able to build the excitement. But I still believe when Canada plays, if it's Canada, US, or heck, if it's Canada, Sweden, whoever it is, right? Now, obviously, I'm biased. I think it's going to be Canada. That I think once people see it's best on best and you get into it, like the game will, sure, Russia's not there, but that doesn't mean that the best Canadian team and the best American teams aren't there. They're all there. It's just that you don't have the other one. So maybe one of those teams wouldn't have been in the final, but maybe it still would have been Canada, US. So the final still, to me, is going to be good regardless of how many other teams are in. Yeah.
True enough. Fair.
Pardon, Struds?
Yeah, no, and I hear you. I hear what you're saying. I guess I just ranked them, right? And I guess for me, you're right. My youth, brings up that incredible 87 Canada Cup.
Mm-hmm.
And we might see something close. Maybe we will. But I don't know, mid-season just doesn't feel, I don't know. I just don't get super excited. Now, you're right. I might change my feelings to go on. Like, I'm trying to compare it to when the NBA had their mid-season kind of tournament, and like,
oh no, that's not the same at all.
I couldn't care less about that.
Well, that was terrible. Plus, it wasn't like this is the best of the best. And Terry, the reason why it's not all the other ones because it's an NHL event. It's not a double IHF. As I said,
I think I'd like even 1 or 2. I'd love 6 teams. For me, the 4 teams just really takes some of that.
Yeah,
it takes some of the positivity out of the whole thing. But I do understand what you're saying, JG.
Yeah. So I'm honestly like I'm excited for it. I want to see. Yeah, I get it's not like Russia, Czech Republic. You know what? Then then I guess you'd have Germany and probably Slovakia or Switzerland and that the countries have gotten better for sure. But I still think the top dogs are the top dogs, and Russia's probably the only top dog who's wouldn't be a surprise to get into the finals. So when and honestly. Putin is, they love hockey in that country, and right now you got a dictator, being someone a lunatic. It's probably unfair for the Russian players that they don't like. There's not much they can do about it, but so they're kind of shrapnel because of it. But I honestly, I think when it comes, it'll be good. And the only thing I would like better is that the final was the best of 3. Because I'm with you, Struddy. That 87 Canada Cup was one of the greatest because it was a 3-game final and every game was 6-5 and it was and there was obviously a little bit of the Canada versus Russia. Oh my God, the big bad Russians still. So that added to it for sure.
Yeah, no, those are great memories. Gretzky, Lemieux, like all that stuff, right? And for me, it just, we had the Oilers, and if you're from Edmonton, you're watching the Oilers trying to, get on the Stanley Cup team. Also, you see them in that tournament with Mario Lemieux. It was mind-blowing. Like, it was, I just was like, I'm all in hockey. I loved it.
Yeah, should be good. Struddy, who are you picking tonight? Canada, Argentina?
Oh, man. My heart and my head for the same thing. I want to go Argentina, but I hope I'm wrong. God, I hope I'm wrong, guys.
Struddy, enjoy your shirtless Tuesday, and we'll talk to you next week.
Do the gun show, Terry. We'll talk to you later.
Oh, yeah. You got it. See you soon, buddy.
There you go, Jason Strudwick. No, DR flexing.
I don't have big arms. That's it. I'm more of a greyhound, but I'm whatever. That's where I am, and I'm good. I'm good with it.
Hey, buddy, nothing wrong with being, you don't have to have big bulging muscles, just sleek and strong.
Hey, well, or sleek. That's, you know what? Like I said, cardio every day. I just get off the ice at 4. I go with all the guys. Right? I mean, it must keep your muscles somewhat tight. I really don't know. I don't like going to the gym, but every day I do cardio or I run or I skate, one of it, and it seems to be doing me fine so far.
Well, there you go. Nice. We'll return. We got 5 questions and more on the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hey, Eddie Steele here. If you know me, you know I'm motivated. And what motivates me? Winning? Been there, done that. What motivates me is the smell of fresh baked goodness, the kind you find at Bonton Bakery. As soon as you walk into Bonton, you're greeted with a big smile, a warm welcome, and the aroma. So good. The showcase of their baked goods always means trouble for me, not just because of the selection, but the excellent fresh ingredients. That's Bonton Bakery, 8720 149th Street, open 9 to 5, Tuesday to Saturday.
My utility bills are going through the roof. How can I take advantage of the sun and put my lazy roof to work?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Energy team reporting. When you're ready to make your home or business more efficient, Action Electrical has the power to install solar panel systems and EV chargers.
Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta with supercharged skills and strong family values. ActionElectrical.net.
This Sunday, your Edmonton Elks host the Ottawa Red Blacks for Dino Day. Discover pre-game fossil digs, dino egg hunts, and animatronic dinosaurs. Plus, catch the inflatable T-Rex football combine at halftime. Presented by Travel Drumheller.
Tickets and more, GoElks.com.
The 100% Canadian beef McDonald's Western Barbecue Quarter Pounder is quite the mouthful. So, who better to sell it in 30 seconds than a 100% Canadian auctioneer?
Oh, mercy, it's back. 100% Canadian beef, topped with delicious smoky barbecue sauce and bacon. Who wants bacon? We got hickory smoked bacon strips, crispy onions. Who wants pickles? Not one down, better than 2 slices of processed cheddar cheese, served on a toasted sesame seed bun, and did so for a limited time at participating McDonald's restaurants in Western Canada.
Hey, if you're a basketball fan, you're going to want to check out the Basketball Show here on Sports 1440. I'm Paul Sir, and I'll be your host every Saturday morning from 10 a.m. to noon right here on Sports 1440.
Hi, Jason Gregor for Volvo of Edmonton. This summer, lease a new 2024 Volvo XC60 with 0% finance, or save up to $6,500 on select models for qualifying loyal customers. Plus a free 10-year, 1 million kilometer warranty with all demo vehicles. And if you're thinking hybrid, save $6,000 off all 2024 new and demo XC60 Recharge plug-in models. Discover why we're Canada's only 13-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. 1205 101st Street Southwest, or visit volvocarsedmonton.com.
Gather around the radio, kiddies, for the best time of day. It's Oodle Noodle time. Listen in this week as your noodle hero battles the barbarous Bobby Burger. Now sing along. You know the word.
Oodle Noodle time. Oodle Noodle time.
You know what time it is now. Get up and give me your best Oodle Noodle dance. Your best time of day is Oodle Noodle time.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Connor Halley with you on a hot Tuesday afternoon. Please, there's been reports. Please, pretty please do not leave your pet in your vehicle, okay? For no time, right? Don't do it. You don't leave yourself in the vehicle. You don't leave your kid in the vehicle. You don't leave your pet in the vehicle. All right? Don't do it. It is way too hot, way too fast right now. Let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick. And it's hot outside, but the deals are hot inside as well. You can get the chest freezer for only $199 right now. Also, limited time deals. You can get up to an extra $1,000 off select major kitchens appliances with their Buy More, Save More event right now at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, guys, question number 1. We're over a week out from free agency and the NHL draft. So amongst NHL franchises, which team, in your opinion, had the most underwhelming offseason?
Go ahead.
Underwhelming. Yeah, underwhelming. It doesn't seem to me Ottawa got any better. And
hey, wait, whoa. What are you talking about, buddy? No, I'm kidding. Great depth signing there for the nephew. But otherwise, I kind of agree.
Oh, whoa. Well, see, I didn't realize that. But B, I'm trying to think. And they got rid of Chikrin, and I was like, I thought they'd probably get more than
No, it's a totally valid point.
Okay, yeah. Well, because I have missed the last 3 days, but for the most part. But yeah, that's who I'm going to go with. I just thought they'd do more, and I'm really rooting for them to finish higher than they did, obviously being Canadian. And I love the way they play. They're guys that, go to the wall, Kachuk. And anyway, I hope that they can do better. And I was very underwhelmed by their moves.
Yeah, that's fair. It's interesting because I look at the teams. For me, some teams that are like Ottawa's close, like the bottom teams who are, I think, like Anaheim, they took some swings. They didn't get any hits. They offered some more money to guys and no one bit. The Calgary Flames didn't do much, but that might be a good thing for them. So for me, I look at teams that I think, okay, like they're supposed to be competitive. So I'm going to go with Carolina. I think Carolina is worse today than they were before free agency started. And that's a tough spot to be in for a team that's a competitive team.
All right. Question number 2 for you guys. Official prediction for Canada, Argentina tonight in COPA.
Oh, God. Like everybody, I got to go with an upset. I'm going to go with the shock the world upset 1-0 Canada.
I can't possibly look at this objectively. Obviously, I would say Argentina if it was from anywhere, but I'm not going to tell you an answer and then sit here and hope I'm a romantic. There you go. I want them to win, and I'm going to say Canada because of that.
All right. Question number 3. We've got COPA Euros going on right now. So taking outside of hockey, what is your favorite best on best international sporting event?
I'm going to go. I got to give a shout out to my buddies Mike Dyke and Jack Keogh, good friends of mine that just coached the under-18 Team Canada ball hockey team that beat the USA in the final in overtime overseas. So I'm going to go. I know it's hockey, but it's ball hockey, and that's obviously my favorite, being close to the sport.
Outside of my best on best international event, well, it's going to be the 100 meters.
Good pick. All right, question number 4. Since the Stampede is underway, if you had to take part in one event, which would you pick?
Well, having a farming background and having tried a few of the events, bull riding, no. I would probably go with steer wrestling. It's hard, but it's much less likely to crush me. And I don't like calf roping. I wouldn't be good at it, so I would go with that, or the chucks. But I'll go with steer wrestling.
I was always absolutely mesmerized with calf roping, and I much like people say, well, hockey is a different sport because you got to do all those things while you skate. Same sort of thing. You've got to be so coordinated while you're riding something that can be unpredictable and definitely off rhythm. And I just think it's incredible coordination and foresight to be able to do it. So I can't. And in some fantasy world, I have done that. Yeah.
And one more question, kind of relating to the Stampede. When it comes to the fair, carnival, K-Days, whatever it might be, the food stops. When you go there, what is the first stop you make when it comes to food or drink?
TR?
I go with Labatt reps, so I usually go to whichever tent they're at and whatever they got set up that day. I hate to give you the, totally generic answer, but whatever. I just love the whole experience, and the people I'm going with usually provide that for me.
Well, I can get a beer anywhere, so definitely if I'm going normally for something that I don't get very often. And for me still, I just love the caramel dipped apples. It's so good. Cons, what about you?
Mini donuts.
Oh,
Mini donuts is where they usually find me.
But they got those right on the main concourse, right outside the media at the Elks game now.
Oh, you're telling me.
Yeah.
Smell them every time I go.
Oh, but you don't have them?
Haven't yet.
What?
Brandon Douglas says he's going to get them on Sunday.
Yeah. How can you not? Do you like mini donuts, TR?
I'll tell you this is an honest answer. An honest answer. If I was approaching the Stampede and I was starving and I needed something to eat and there was a wall of those, I'd kick it down and use it as a door and keep going. That's how much. Not only do I not care for them, the last thing I want to do on a day that I'm going to celebrate and have a few drinks, even if I'm like taking it light on the boot, there's no part of me that wants to go anywhere near any type of donut. The complete opposite of that, please.
All right. You're not a fan of donuts, are you? You don't really eat donuts, do you?
To me, like their payoff, there's part of me that as I'm chewing it goes, okay, this is tasty, but it immediately makes me feel like crap. If I'm going to cheat, I'd rather have like an extra meatball sub or something. It doesn't do enough. And I'm like, and of course it's going to soak. Like if I just had 2 beers, I'm like, what am I doing? I'm soaking it up for a donut. Like if I'm going to do something, give me a nice slab of pizza or some little pasta or whatever, a sandwich. I don't know, a pierogi, any of the above. But please, one thing, please don't give me a donut. I'll take that sack of hammers across the face, please. Not a donut.
TR, always a pleasure. Have yourself a wonderful Tuesday evening. Hopefully you and Penny Lane, her soccer match will be done by the time you can get home to watch the Canada-Argentina game in what it should be an electrifying one just to see. I love upsets. It'll be an upset. And if it can happen, man, it'll be a fun time to watch.
Stranger things have happened. Thank you, Connor. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Edmonton. I'll see you guys in a few days.
You betcha. There's Terry Ryan, the certified romantic. Why not? A romantic? Not a fan of the donuts. I get it. Right? Like I think they have him ranked like one of like the 4th unhealthiest food out there. So I get it. Right? Now, it's like anything. If you have it once in a blue moon, it's totally fine. Nothing wrong with it. But I can see if he's like, you know what? Mix it in. The mini donuts, though. Oh, God. You get a bag of them with that. It's the brown sugar or whatever. I think it's like brown sugar and cinnamon mixture, I think, that they put on them. Oh, God. It's good. I like it.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone so anti-donut.
Yeah. He's an anti-donut guy. It's all right.
Anti-donut.
Oh, right.
So good.
Oh, well, yeah, but look at you. You say they're good, but you still don't eat them. You've been to the Elks games for 10 years. You never had them.
Oh, well, I have in the past, but not this year.
Oh,
so 2 games only. And
you made it sound like, oh no, I walk by it all the time. Oh yeah, 2 games.
The media meal, Gregor, last game was it was chicken fingers and tots. And that's like right in my wheelhouse, right? So I really went pretty crazy on that.
Oh, chicken finger. Oh God, yeah. I love the tots.
Food was good. So but yeah, next time I go, a couple weeks, don't worry. We're making a stop. The question is bucket of them or just the bag?
Well, you get the bucket because then you can share.
Yeah.
Right? Share with others. Feel good.
In the press box, become a hero.
Yeah, it's true. Right? Just, watch who you sit by. That's all I'll say. Watch who you sit by. Coming up after 5 o'clock, we're going to get more Canada, Argentina. We're getting closer, just over an hour away from an opportunity for a major upset. And you know what? Even if they don't, if they don't win, they're still in the bronze medal. In the bronze, you get a medal in this tournament for Canada. It's massive. No one thought they're going to get a medal when it started. So right now I'm not going to say you're playing with house money because that means they don't care. Of course they care. They want to win. You don't get this far and be like, well, we're happy if we lose. No chance. They want to win, and nothing better than going up against the number one team in the world right now, at least on the world rankings in Argentina. They got that Messi fella. Last I checked, he's not bad, Connor. Not bad at all. So maybe it's a spikes up night on Messi. We'll see. We will see. I'm not promoting violence, but sometimes when it's your country, screw it. Get a win. Let's get to Conman and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Albatross Roofing. They're looking for experienced flat roofers and sheet metal fabricators. Must have experience with the SBS modified bitumen roofing systems. You can apply at roofingalbatross.ca.
The Sports 1440 update.
Game day, Canada taking on Argentina at Copa America semifinals out in Jersey. This one gets going at 6 o'clock. Earlier today at the Euros, it was Spain knocking off France 2-1. Tomorrow, you have England taking on Netherlands, those two teams. The winner of that one meeting Spain. In the final, Major League Baseball, Blue Jays getting ready to take on the San Francisco Giants out in the Bay. First pitch set for 7:45. You got 4 games underway right now. Yankees, Rays, Dodgers, Phillies, both scoreless. Guardians lead the Tigers 3-0. And in the second, the Cubbies up on the Orioles 1-0 later tonight. Got the Reds taking on the Rockies, Athletics in Boston, Mets host the Nationals, Marlins travel to Houston, Angels up against the Rangers, Braves meet the Diamondbacks, and the Padres hosting the Seattle Mariners. The Edmonton Stingers in action tonight, down at the Hive, taking on the Calgary Surge. That one gets going at 7 o'clock, and the Riverhawks on the road, kicking off a 6-game road trip tonight in Wenatchee. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and NHL.com's Derek Van Diest. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Gather around the radio, kiddies, for the best time of day. It's Oodle Noodle time. Listen in this week as your noodle hero battles the barbarous Bobby Burger. Now sing along. You know the words. Oodle Noodle time. Oodle Noodle time. You know what time it is now. Get up and give me your best Oodle Noodle dance. Your best time of day is Oodle Noodle time.
Introducing the Female Super League. Female hockey is on the rise with more women playing the game than ever. Join us as we pave the way for the future of women's hockey. The FSL is more than a game. It's a movement and an experience for the motivated female athlete. Teams will compete in a showcase-style format featuring consistent interprovincial competition. Come be part of the journey as the 2024-25 season unveils a 12U division, as well as the launch of a groundbreaking progressive body-checking 14U division. For more information, visit FemaleSuperLeague.com.
What a season. What a ride. Congratulations on an incredible season from GS Construction. Whether you're a laborer, pipe layer, or pipe layer's helper, lead hand, operator, top man or woman, or water and sewer foreman, GS Construction has room for you on their team. GS Construction, celebrating 50 years of laying the groundwork of Edmonton and communities throughout Alberta. Let's get to work. Get started today at gsconstruction.ca.
Rule number 116. In Waterton, walk with a lean. The wind will always prop you up. Summer in Alberta has its own set of rules. And if you're looking to add a little extra fun, Play Alberta has it all. Use promo code SUMMER to snag a $50 casino bonus for casino, instants, and live dealer with your next deposit. Get ready for promotions throughout the summer to help you make the most of those sunny Alberta days, because we all know they don't last long enough. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
The Bricks Appliance Super Sale is here for all your home outfitting needs. Check out amazing deals on all major appliances, like chest freezer starting at just $199 and washer and dryer packages for under $1,500. Plus, shop incredible deals in other departments, like up to $920 off sofas and sectionals. This summer, the Bricks Appliance Super Sale has got you covered, whether you're looking for items as big as a fridge or as small as a kettle. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Whatever the project, big or small, when you need metal cut precisely and promptly, you need Metal Supermarkets. That's right, fast, so you can get it done, then enjoy the sun. Imagine what you'll do with all that extra time.
I've always wanted to try bird watching. So peaceful, so... Hey, a woodpecker. That's my leg! What the actual...
Maybe find another summer pastime, but in the meantime, see the pros at Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for... Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
Employee pricing is on now at Chevrolet. Right now, get up to $10,500 off select Silverado 1500 High Country Crew Cab models. With an available 6.2-liter V8 engine and standard Chevrolet safety assist, including forward collision alert, getting out of the city and having a nice, quiet day on the beach is easier than ever this season. So relaxing. Ask your Chevrolet advisor for details.
Mr. Rooter sends his daughter to university.
You're sure you don't want to go to plumbing school?
No, Dad. I want to be a civil engineer so I can plan the sewers.
What a dreamer. I have a surprise. Your dad, Mr. Rooter, is going to pay your tuition.
Oh my gosh, really?
Here you go.
Oh, coins. Why are they so dirty?
Well, it's every coin I ever snaked out of a toilet. You're welcome, sweetheart.
Ugh, for an A-plus plumbing experience, call Mr. Rooter.
When I talk about it, carries on.
It's game day. Sports 1440, Oilers Nation YouTube and Facebook. A huge game for Canadian men's soccer as they take on Argentina tonight. Still looking, waiting to see the official starting lineup. If we'll see Kone in the starting lineup tonight. If it was me, I'd have him in. I thought he played great coming off the bench. Just like a speed, tenacity. They might need that tonight. We will see. It's going to be fun. Be enjoyable. You know what? The program's been building, and now here's a huge test. And not just tonight, because whatever happens, they'll don't have to rebound. And if they lose or win, they're playing on the weekend either way. So, look at the maximum games they could play heading in, and that's a big win for them, financially for the program. But I think for individual players, exposure, just for the program, some confidence. The fan base has definitely been excited and rejuvenated for it. So. Lots of positives overall. And you know what? If you're feeling like, you know what? Hey, I like my country. Go to playalberta.ca. They are definitely the underdog for Canada tonight. But as we all know, in unders, anything can happen anytime. It can happen. So we'll see for Canada and Argentina tonight. Also, Lotto Max, $50 million for you at playalberta.ca. Let's get to the spec report now, brought to you by GS Construction. Man, there's no slowing down for them. They are full on busy. Lots of new projects. They're looking for always to get more great people to work for their company. Go to Indeed.com and look up GS Construction. Lots of different opportunities for you, whether you're just getting in or you got lots of experience as a foreman, top man, top woman, in different roles. They have them all at GS Construction. Check it out at Indeed.com as Mark Spector joins us once again. And Spec, a big game tonight. A lot of excitement. You know what? I saw the MetLife Stadium is going to be packed. It's going to be a heavy Argentina crowd, no question. But I saw our good friend AJ Jakubek's there. He had a video of it. Thousands of Canadian fans. They're predicting maybe between 5,000 to 7,000 Canadian fans will be in attendance for the game tonight, which obviously will be a smaller percentage than the rest of the Argentinians. But man, that'll be a hell of an experience. If you've been a fan of that team for a long time, this is your reward there. So you got to go.
Oh, for sure. I didn't. I'll admit to not having a ton of familiarity with the Copa America because Canada's never had a presence. We've never really. I mean, is this not? How many times have we been in this thing?
Well, I think it's Canada's. It's the only time they've ever been in the playoffs ever.
Yeah, I think it might be. It's for sure the only time they've been in the playoffs. So my point is this: I didn't realize that like they would hold it in the United States.
Well, that's not normal, right? They did it to grow the game, which was wisely, right?
So this is the first time it's been in the States?
In recent memory, yeah, as far as I know.
Yeah, right. But my point is they're selling out football stadiums in the States and the USA is not playing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm going with this thing as an operator or as the tournament itself. I had no idea that this tournament could be played in the United States and draw without the United States playing, they're not in it anymore and still draw like this. So that's huge. Like Canada playing in front of a sold out football stadium. I mean, I don't know how big MetLife is. It's got
85,000
people. 85,000. I mean,
yeah.
Canada doesn't play many 85,000 seat. When they do, it's because they're playing Mexico in Mexico City and every single fan is against them. So this will be a hell of an experience. And like you pointed out, a place where the program's never been before, right?
Yeah. Well, this is the second time it's been in the U.S. So you know what? Good for them. I think that the last time it was in the U.S., I think Chile won. But Cons can double check. I think it was Chile one. DVD will know. He's joining us next. He'll know for sure.
He'll know for sure.
Yeah. So
yep.
We'll see. Looking at a few other things, Spec. Around that's big. It's big for the program, right? Like there's millions of dollars here that they've already earned, right? Like minimum $8 million. You move up. They can, if they pull up a big, you get to the gold medal game, and then it's I think minimum $7 million, and then up to $12 million. Just for that game alone. So you'll get plus every other game that you've earned along the way. So, it's huge for a program that needed it. I think they've injected some excitement. Now what's crazy about this is there's lots of good nations. Like look at Italy. Italy is one of the soccer powerhouses. And they weren't even they didn't even qualify for the World Cup for a few times. Right now, a little bit different because it's, there's territories that get in and, got to have representation for everyone. So I understand it, but still, it just shows you like a run like this is pretty magical that it's not like it's going to be in hockey where Canada every year you're guaranteed to get in, right? It's a little bit harder.
Well, and this isn't CONCACAF either. Like Canada used to struggle to get out of CONCACAF. Now we're one of the better countries in CONCACAF. This is more than that. And now we're succeeding, on the whole North and South American platform. So yeah, it's just a tale of a growing program. And man, like as a sports fan in this country for 58 years, we've never had a soccer team that was frankly, I think, didn't they go to the World Cup once back in the 80s? They didn't score a goal, and they didn't show up again till very recently. And now they're a bit of a going concern. They give you something to watch on a night like this. Like here I am. I'm sitting in front of the TV at the lake, man. I know what I'm doing tonight. I'm watching this game. And there's no question in my mind over the last 6 days, this is where I was going to be on Tuesday night. And there's a few million Canadians just like me on a July night who've booked off a Tuesday to watch soccer. I'm here to tell you, these are uncharted waters, my friend, for a program that hasn't given us this kind of appointment viewing very often in my lifetime as a Canadian.
Oh, yeah, no, 100%. That's what makes it exciting, right? Like the women's program obviously won the gold medal at the Olympics, and that got the excitement. And so hopefully now it's just where you're competitive. You get into the the semifinals, and anything can happen, and that's what makes it very exciting. You're into the slowdown season, Spec, and there's something I'm hearing in regards from multiple different sources that Stan Bowman, part of him coming back into the NHL might be that his first gig doesn't mean he gets to be a GM. Now, I've had multiple sources said they've heard the same thing, but they haven't seen it as far as in writing. But I'm curious if that, how it makes sense on one hand, Spec, that they say, hey, you know what, you come back, but you don't just get to go right into a GM's job. And then the other side would say, well, if you're letting him back in the league, then let him all the way in. So,
yeah.
But it is interesting. I've heard that from 3 different sources now. From different places in the league that have heard the similar thing. But as they've said, well, I have never seen it being like, is it in writing or not? But it is something to watch for in this GM hunt for the Oilers.
Well, so there's a few things here, right? If there's one team out there that doesn't need a de facto GM position filled, but wants a guy with that experience, it's the Oilers. They got a president or a CEO in Jeff Jackson, who's clearly able to GM the team. It's kind of crazy, Jay. I mean, let's play this thing out. Let's say Jeff Jackson hires Stan Bowman and he calls him something other than general manager.
Oh, that's what I said. Yeah, it could be associate, GM, assistant GM.
Okay, whatever. What's he going to do? He's going to act like a general manager. He's going to make calls like a general manager. He's going to cooperate with Jackson like a general manager would. I mean, what are we doing here? Either he's in or he's out in my eyes. And that's a big, long discussion you can have. And has he served enough time away from the game? Has he bettered himself? Has he educated himself? Has he made himself a better person? What are your views on second chances? All of those things are conversations, and we'll all have them at length. But don't tell me I'm having the guy back, but he can't be named a GM, but he's probably going to act like a GM. So who's going to hire him? What are we going to call him? I mean, what are we doing here, right? Come on.
Yeah. Oh, well, hey, and that's valid if it's indeed that's the reason for it, for sure. So it's something to watch. Jackson's kept it pretty tight to his vest, which I can respect. I haven't heard a lot of names. I've heard some talking to people. They think, hey, I think this guy might be a guy, and that guy might be a guy. But I would think that this will be sorted itself out here later on in the month. I know there's lots of people that have asked, would you do it internally? I don't get that sense at this point.
Nope.
If they would do that, and I'm sure that those 3 guys, Gretzky, Holland, and Bill Scott, would say, hey, you know what? I would love the opportunity to be the GM, and you kind of keep things rolling, obviously, because it's not just Jeff Jackson, right? And Jackson would be the first one if he was on our show here today to say, yeah, I know everyone's like, oh, Jeff Jackson, and he has a big say in it for sure, but he doesn't have the only say. There's lots of other guys involved. It's never just a one-person situation, but he's obviously at the head of it right now, and they've had a very good offseason.
Well, that's what makes a good organization, is a bunch of good heads around the table. You're right. It's never one guy. There's you need a guy running your scouting department doing a good job. You need a guy, Brad Holland, you're running your pro scouts. You need a guy running your farm team that's running it properly. So when guys go there, they get properly developed. And I think the Bakersfield Condors under the tutelage of Keith Gretzky, how'd Holloway look after he spent a little time there? How'd Broberg do coming out of there, right? Guys are doing what they're supposed to do in Baco. They develop, and then you got to have the right cap guy. You can't be making cap mistakes here. You need the right analytics guy, and they're real happy with Mike Parcati, and I think he's a really smart, good, analytics guy. So yeah, Jay, for sure it's a team. I want to say this though: if they were going to hire one of those team members and turn him into a general manager, I think it would have happened by now. Right? It would have been easy to do, and it would have happened by now. The longer it goes, the more I feel like they're flirting with someone outside the organization.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think that's what they're looking at for sure. We had Chris Jones on the program earlier today.
Yeah, I heard him.
And he had an interesting comment about his quarterback because I asked him about Ford. You can have two quarterbacks in the field. You try different things, and he said he does. Ford expressed he doesn't want to be in just like package like situations. And and I said, well, you're the coach, so can you just say, hey, we want you to play? And it's, well, not necessarily like that. And he said that maybe Ford has to come to him and say, hey, you know what, I'll do whatever I can to get on the field. It was an interesting comment to me. He did follow it up though, because I made sure I followed up about how he's very high on Ford. He thinks he's making a lot of progress. He outlined some other guys who take their time, but I do get a sense that I just don't know if Jones is a big Ford guy. Is that fair?
I don't think Ford is a big Jones guy either.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I heard what he said on your show. That's a good interview and a good get by you. A coach doesn't just throw that out there, that I've asked the guy to come in some packages and he's refusing. You don't just chuck that out there without knowing going into the interview that's what you're going to say and knowing what the impact of that is. That's Chris Jones telling us, hey, don't blame me for not playing this guy. I don't like his attitude. He's trying to tell me when he's going to play, when he wants to play, and that ain't going to fly on my team. That's what the translation there is. And frankly, I don't blame any coach who does that, because if one player starts coaching your team, pretty soon all the players start coaching your team. Okay. The other history here is, I'm not a CFL guy. I'm not in that dressing room, but the guys that have been in that dressing room that I've talked to tell me that at one point earlier in his career, Chris Jones wanted Trey Ford to play a different position, right?
Yeah.
Listen, I don't think you're really a quarterback. Why don't you play DB? Why don't you play receiver? And he refused. He said, I'm not doing that. I'm a quarterback in this league. I'm going to be a quarterback, and I'm not doing anything different. So part of me says Trey Ford's standing up for himself here, and I admire that. I admire the fact that the kid's not going to go like so many Canadian quarterbacks in the past who got shipped out to be a slot back or a receiver, or a DB. He's standing his ground. But him and the coach, I'm here to tell you, we're a couple years, 3 years into. How long's Trey Ford been here? 3 years?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're 3 years in, and him and the coach is coming on your radio show and saying things like that, and the player's still not playing. This is not a relationship that's going to get repaired anytime soon, my friend.
Well, I think it comes to an end when and it'll be curious when the new owner comes in, and I think that's getting closer. Well, I know it's getting closer by the day, and I'm not saying that the change would happen instantly, but in the off season, they're going to have a conversation. And I think the owner's going to have to look. And I think that the number one thing, the key move by the owner is going to be, Spec, is to hire a president or a CEO. And it has to be somebody who has some football acumen, because they're going to have to make the tough decision on their coach and GM. Like that has to be the first decision made. No question.
Oh, for sure. So, that's a bigger topic. They got this organization is going to be rebuilt from top to bottom when they get a new owner, and don't bother doing it mid-season, right? Don't bother doing it mid-season. Let's get through a season. Let's go into the off season with new ownership. Let's start the tear down and do this thing right. Chris Jones won't be here next year. His contract's up after this year, correct?
No, he has one more year.
Okay, well then I take that back, because financial concerns may have him here next year.
No, I don't. Dude, unless their record grossly changes, I don't think there's any chance he's here.
Okay, listen, I don't want to come on your show and tell you I'm close to the CFL, because I'm not. If I'm running that team and I can afford it, absolutely, Chris Jones. He is 4-8 in 28. He's 8-32 as a head coach. There's no chance he comes back with an 8-32 record as we sit here today. The other one is Trey Ford. Listen, we all know sports, Jay. Fans always love the backup quarterback more than the starter, right? That's the way it works. Trey Ford is exciting, man. He runs it. He's all over the place. He's elusive. He makes things up as he goes. He's a classic Tracy Ham CFL quarterback. Bethel Thompson is a better quarterback today, right? He's a better quarterback. He's more experienced. He stays in the pocket. He finds secondary receivers. He's more predictable for his offense, right? He's a longer, more professional, experienced guy. So the question is, who are you going with? Are you going to give some time to Ford and see where it comes, see where you develop him? Who knows how good he could be? But if you're trying to win tomorrow, Sunday night, Bethel Thompson's going to win for you before Trey Ford is, in my opinion.
Except the stats don't say that, because you mentioned Chris Jones. He's 8-32. Trey Ford is 5-7 as a starter.
Yep.
The team is 3-25 when he doesn't start. So,
okay.
Sure. Now, Bethel Thompson's only been there for 4 games. I should preface that. But that's why, to me, if they lose to Ottawa on Sunday, you have to make a quarterback change at that point, because all you're doing is going down the same path that they did last year. Now, it wasn't just a quarterback change. They also changed their OC, which should have happened before the season even began last year, right? But you might have to look at that, because wins matter. I don't care about completion percentage. I don't care about TD to interception ratio. Win and loss matters more. And right now, Trey Ford has a much better win-loss record than any of the other quarterbacks.
I'm all for an exciting, young, fresh quarterback who runs around and does lots of fun stuff. Trey Ford will sell you tickets. And this isn't me saying he might be way better than Bethel Thompson one day, right? He might be, and he needs to play. Like, if I'm Ford, right, if they don't play me here quick, I'm out. Been hanging around here for a long time and not playing. Edmonton has not been a great situation for this kid. He's not getting any better on the bench. His coach is going on the radio show telling everybody who wants to hear that the kid's not cooperating on his offensive schemes. And it's not a great place for Trey Ford. So he either has to play, Jay, or he's got to move on here. I don't disagree with that. I'd love to see how he looks. And frankly, if you're 0-5, you're right. Why aren't we playing this guy? Why aren't we developing this young player? Because the old guy's not winning for us. So what are we doing here?
Yeah, 100%. Spec, enjoy the game tonight. It should be a lot of fun. I love the upset. It would obviously be a massive one. It'd sure be fun to see if it happens.
I'll be front row, baby. Cold beer and a bowl full of popcorn. Can't wait.
Pace yourself, Spec. Pace yourself. There you go. Hey, geez, on a day like today, for cold anything, man. Well, no, I was gonna say maybe even like a nice cold coffee, but I don't think I'd go that far. I can't. I don't. People that do it, good for you, but not even like warm coffee, so I couldn't have a cold one. But I would take. You can give me soda water. You can give me ice water. I would probably drink like even a pop, which I haven't had in a long time, like a nice on ice cream soda or an orange crush. Oh, be all over it. Now, our next guest, DVD, of course, a huge soccer guy, also big NHL guy. We'll talk a little bit of both next. And I was right. It was Chile, the last time it was in the United States. That was the first time CONCACAF teams were in. That was 2016. This is the first time Canada's not only been in the playoffs, but this is the first time Canada's ever been in the tournament. So you probably have a lot of these other nations like, what the hell's going on here? How does this first timer get all the way to the semis? It's damn impressive. That's what, like, it could be that this, if they win, actually, this is probably a question. If Canada wins tonight, will that be the greatest upset in Canadian sports? Could you think of another one that would match that? There'll probably be a few, but when you think like globally, so you got to think like some bigger national events for sure, right? In other sports that would rank up there. Like, what's your biggest Canadian upset? 833-401-1440. Biggest Canadian upset. 833-401-1440. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com. Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Center's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit edmontonexpocenter.com today.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
The Toronto Blue Jays are on Sports 1440. Every weekend, catch all the action with play-by-play announcer Ben Schulman. The Blue Jays, this Saturday and Sunday on Sports 1440. Edmonton's home for all things sports.
Hey, it's Scott from Sherwood and St. Albert Dodge. It's our final clear out of classic Ram 1500 trucks, and I do mean final. This is your last chance to get 25% off a brand new Ram truck. We still have some inventory left, but when they're gone, they're really gone. Or get an iconic Jeep Wrangler with up to $7,500 off. 0% financing available on every model. And we have a couple of the rare 500 horsepower 392 Wranglers in stock now. St. Albert and Sherwood Dodge, Edmonton's best rated Ram and Jeep dealers.
Diablo Boots has been open for business for 60 years, selling Canadian-made quality boots. Diablo has Canada West work, biker, and cowboy boots with fixable soles and heels. So why buy boots like Area, Justin, or Red Wing that are made in China? Get your money's worth with Diablo's Canada West tough, comfortable work boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. And does Diablo sell the best boots in town? You betcha.
Edmonton is a great sports town. I've been there, I know. My name is Jason Smith. I host a late-night talk show here on Sports 1440. Join me and Mike Harmon tonight from 9 to midnight. There's always a ton of things to talk about, so tune in. Sports 1440.
.527. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Declan Kruger with you on Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Lots of text line in 833-401-1440 in our inbox. Hey guys, what about your own Lorianne Munzer? Well, she would be up there, although she was ranked going in, but it would be one of the more unexpected ones. A Canadian never won a cycling gold medal at that point. She was 38 years of age, but she was ranked heading in like top 10. So it wouldn't be considered, like if you would have said 8 years ago she was going to win, yes. But at that time leading up to it, probably wouldn't qualify for a major upset because, she'd be in a top 10 cyclist. Like she was on the podium at the World Championships right after. So like she obviously was kind of in her heyday at that point. But you're right, maybe unexpected if you looked at it from where it had come, but and in a way, that's the Canadian men's soccer program. No one thought when they came into this tournament that they'd probably be in the semifinals. Well, outside of them, and now going up against the number one team in the world, at least number one ranked team in the world in Argentina, as Derek Van Diest joins us now. DVD, how you doing, my man?
Good. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good. Now we'll get to hockey and football in a sec, but obviously you're a huge soccer guy. What's your thoughts on obviously they're the underdog, but what do you make of this matchup tonight?
Well, they're obviously a huge underdog when it comes to world soccer. Canada is not really on the map; they're not kind of registered. So just for them to get to the Final Four of this tournament, I think it's opened a lot of eyes, and I think it's kind of made people aware that Canadian soccer is getting better and they're getting competitive. Now you're going up against Messi and Argentina. Well, obviously, they're one of the best teams in the world, obviously, the defending World Cup champions. So, and I think that the big issue here is that Messi and Argentina haven't necessarily played well throughout this tournament, but it takes a while when you're in a short tournament like this for guys to come together from their different clubs and start meshing, and you can kind of sense that. But I think Canada's going out there with no fear. They're playing with house money. No one expects them to do anything. No one expects them to win this game. So they can just go out there and do their thing and try to be a strong team. That the first time they played them, that they thought that they should have scored at least a couple of goals. So there's no fear. There's no fear factor going into this one, I think, and they got a puncher's chance. So we'll see what happens.
When you look at it from a matchup standpoint, you saw Canada against Venezuela, and even earlier in this tournament DVD, like Canada's actually generated a lot. They haven't finished on it, and so like, how do you think they're going to be able to? Because I don't think it's because Kyle Larin scored a lot of goals last year, in the calendar year for Canada, some huge goals, and in this tournament he struggled a little bit, and maybe that's just the ebb and flow, and that's the difference between having an elite striker and a non-elite one, but. That's obviously kind of the next step for Canada, right? Is to improve their finishing ability, which is easier said than done.
Yeah, and that's the difference between the world-class teams and the teams that are kind of maybe second or third-tier teams. Is the world-class teams don't leave chances on the table. When they get an opportunity to score, they'll put it away. And I think you see that in those elite teams like Argentina, Brazil, Uruguay in this tournament. You see that. You saw that this afternoon in the Spain-France game. When those guys get an opportunity, they put it in the net. And I think that's the next evolution for Canada. Defensively, they're well. They're structured well. They're fit. And it's just a matter of now generating those opportunities. You got to score, because if you get 2 or 3 good quality chances, you got to put at least one of them in. And we saw that against Venezuela. They should have scored 3 goals in that first half. That game should have been over by the end of the half, but they let Venezuela hang around then to tie the game. So I think that's just the evolution of becoming a world, a team that can compete on the world stage and compete against these great teams. If you get a scoring chance in Argentina, even if it's a half one, you got to try and make the most of it.
Yeah, it is hard. It's funny because the net looks so big, and people are like, well, it should be easy to do it. Well, not necessarily. If that was the case, there'd be way more goals in soccer overall, even though offense is starting to improve for sure. But when you look at it from a tactical standpoint, and you see, this new approach from Canada, way more aggressive, right? Like they're going for it more.
Yeah, they are. They're being aggressive, and then they're trying to press opponents up the field, and they're trying to create turnovers, and they're trying to kind of shorten the field. And you can do that when you have a lot of guys that are really fit and fast, and Canada has that right now. I think this is a golden generation of Canadian soccer, but they have a lot of good young players that can play that style of game, that can be aggressive, and that can run for 90 minutes. And I think when you have those athletes, you can do that. And I think it's just a matter of adapting as well. Like what you do when you get the ball, when you're pressing this team, I think that's something that Canada has to kind of improve on. But also Argentina, this is a team that's world class. Every player is a world class player. They're not afraid of you pressing them or putting pressure on them. They can move the ball. They can make plays. So I think that's where Canada has to be a little careful. You don't want to get too aggressive and then leave spaces behind you, like we saw in the last couple of games where guys did get in behind them. So I think that's they got to walk that fine line, I think, today.
Yeah, it will be difficult, but it'll be a lot of fun. And you know what? I'm just looking forward to it. I hope it's a good performance. I hope it's a competitive game. And you know what? I hope it's close and just kind of keeps you on the edge of your seat, a 1-goal game or something like that. And I know if Canada can score early, I think they probably have to score the first goal in this game to have any sort of hope. So we'll see how it goes. But what do you make of Schaffelberg? Did he surprise you with his performance against Venezuela?
No, because they brought him on. What was it? They brought him on the World Cup qualifier, I think. He kind of came on the scene in the last year, and I remember last year he scored a big goal for Canada. I think it was either a World Cup qualifier or it was a game to qualify for this tournament. So he's a guy that incredible speed. He's so fast. He can run forever, and he's really good with the ball. Like he plays the ball really well. And I think that's the difference between the really really good players is that a lot of these guys can run up and down the field all day, but can they process the game at that speed? Can they process the game at that level? Can you kind of see the game developing in front of you? And he's a guy that does that. He's able to do that. And he's kind of the next generation of these young, talented players that are coming up. And I think there's another generation after this one that is coming up. And like I said, I think the MLS teams have to do a lot for that. The 3 Canadian teams have developed a lot of good young players. And I think he's the next one coming up. But I think there's a lot of them behind there. But yeah, Schaffelberg, this is kind of his coming out party. Nobody knew much about him. And you look at his opportunity, he's getting the opportunity now. And I would be surprised if some European teams suddenly started calling and saying, hey, this guy has talent and we could probably use him.
Well, that's the biggest one, right? This is like an ongoing audition for a lot of these players for big clubs in Europe.
No, definitely. That's what these tournaments are. That's what they do. There's scouts all over. From every club team in the world is watching these tournaments and scouting these tournaments and looking to find those hidden gems. And when a team like Canada goes on the run that they are, they're not really well scouted around the world. And I think there's an opportunity for a lot of those players to move on to bigger and better things club-wise.
Derek Van Diest joins us here on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. DVD, it's been a quiet week. It's Tuesday. The Oilers haven't done anything. I'm joking, but after the month run, and then they got in. Then there was a trade, and I know I haven't talked to you since free agency and the deal went down. But what do you make of the new look Oilers roster, from trades to signings and everything above and in between?
Well, it's exciting. They kept the band together, and I think that was the number one priority, to bring back guys like Henrique and guys like that, and Connor Brown and Janmark. And I think they went out and said, this is what we're going to do. We want to keep these guys. We're going to bring them back. And then to go get a guy like Jeff Skinner and get a guy like Victor Arvidsson. And that just adds to your forward depth. And you look at that forward depth now, and you can argue that the Oilers have the deepest forward group in the NHL right now. So I think a lot of guys are looking at this as an opportunity. Next year is going to be obviously a huge year for this hockey club, for this organization. There's some big decisions that are made, obviously, with the Draisaitl contract the year after that. So I think they're looking at it going, okay, we're all in for next season. We're going to take our shot. We came very, very close. You can't come closer than the Oilers did and not win it. So they're going to take their shot, and then they want to, get back to the Stanley Cup final again. And I think they've done a really good job of selling that to a lot of these free agents that may have left money on the table, may have left term on the table, and said, hey, you come with us, you're getting an opportunity to win. And that's what these guys play for. And that, as Henrique said it, sometimes it's going to cost you to win. And he was a man true to his word, probably go somewhere else for more money. But he decided to come to Edmonton and try and take a shot at it here.
Yeah, and like we said, it's going to cost you to win. I'm like, you're still making $3 million. Like it's not, it's not a terrible sacrifice here at the end of the day. And once you made $55 million in your career, you can once you made $15 million, you could do it if you really wanted to, because you got so much money, you don't need any more money.
Yeah,
realistically, do you force, like, if I had to give you three options, okay? Option number one, the Oilers' new GM will be an experienced GM or a first-time GM?
I think it'll be a first-time GM, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's a guy like Keith Gretzky. They say, hey, maybe you can take the mantle here for the next couple of years and see what you can do. I think it'd be tough to pass him over a second time around for someone that's not experienced. I think Jeff Jackson wants a younger, innovative GM, but I think you look at the heads that came together, and they did the heavy lifting. And like, whoever coming in here doesn't have to worry about this year's team. He's got to worry about filling the conference down the road. But I've been hearing a lot of rumblings about that, and who knows? But I think it'll be a younger guy, not necessarily an experienced guy. I think it'll be a younger guy that kind of thinks outside the box. And I think that's what Jeff Jackson is looking for. He's looking for a fresh face, and like he did with his head coach, he wanted a young guy, a young head coach, a new voice, and he did that. He succeeded with Chris Knobloch, and I think that's kind of the direction the Oilers are going in the general manager. I could be completely off base with this, but I think that's the way I would look at it if I was Jeff Jackson. Let's try and bring a young, innovative guy in here.
When you look at the Calgary Flames, DVD, obviously, you know what, this is the year Wolf's going to get an opportunity, Dan Vladar. You get the sense, though, that Calgary's willing to accept some short-term pain and maybe be a bottom 5, bottom 7 team here next season?
I think they have no choice. I think they've sold off most of their big assets, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Kaji now. Kaji didn't sign up for a rebuild. He signed up because he thought this team was going to contend. He thought it had the pieces there to be a winning team, and now they kind of shipped off all these pieces. So you wonder if his is the next shoe to fall. They're not going to get rid of that Huberdeau contract. That's an anchor. No one's taking that off their hands. But I think the problem with Calgary is they didn't know where they're coming or going. Are we a team that can compete, or should we be a team that's reloading and rebuilding? And I think they got kind of caught in the middle there. And I think now they've accepted that fate that, okay, you know what? We're going to have to kind of reload here and go with some younger talent. And so it's going to be interesting to see. But I think they are going to – you're looking at the Oilers right now, and they got to think to themselves, okay, we're not going to get past the Oilers. So maybe we can kind of prepare ourselves for when that window opens. When the Oilers window closes, maybe the Flames window will open. And that might be the idea that they're thinking down in Calgary, because you do got some good young guys in the system. It's just a matter of of coming up and giving me the experience. So I think, it's going to be some lean years in Calgary here, especially since the Oilers are so strong and they're going to make their run to the Cups.
DVD, if Canada scores a goal tonight, who's the goal scorer?
I think Jonathan David, he'll score a goal. If it's a penalty, Alfonso Davies will score, but I think Jonathan David will score a goal today.
Jonathan David. All right, man. We'll see what happens. Enjoy. Good luck.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me on.
There you go. That is Derek Van Diest. An inexperienced. I could make a strong argument that the Oilers don't necessarily need a GM with previous NHL GM experience. I don't believe they need that. They need someone with some experience at the NHL level, being part of an NHL organization. That I would agree. But I don't think it has to be a guy who has had NHL GM on his resume before. I don't think that's necessary. 833-401-1440. We got a lot of texts coming in on the Bowman question. We'll get to those. Get some soccer. Your predictions. We asked you, what is in your eyes, what is your biggest Canadian sporting upset? 833-401-1440.
GMC. But it's kind of like you do, because you pay what we pay. GMC employee pricing is on now on all 2024 GMC Sierra half tons and Hummers. Oh, but at Wolf GMC Buick, it's even better. Get GMC employee pricing on every in-stock 2024 GMC. If it's new and a 2024 and it has that beautiful GMC logo on it, then it's GMC employee priced. Pay what we pay, but only until July 25th. Get into Wolf GMC Buick now and see the over 200 GMCs in stock.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
What's cracking at Cattail? Their men's league. Play 18 holes for 18 weeks on Tuesdays from 2 to 6 p.m. Then complete the day and head to Out of Bounds. Recently ranked one of Canada's top 10 in fine dining restaurants. For details, visit cattailcrossing.ca.
Rule number 33. White shirts attract stampede mustard like magnets. Maybe just bring a spare. Summer in Alberta has its own set of rules, and if you're looking to add a little extra fun, Play Alberta has it all. Use promo code SUMMER to snag a $50 casino bonus for casino, instants, and live dealer with your next deposit. Get ready for promotions throughout the summer to help you make the most of those sunny Alberta days, because we all know they don't last long enough. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is still the #1 company for families who don't want to see dad in his underwear. Come on, we warned you about a heat wave a while ago, and lo and behold, here we are. So call Legacy now before the heat wave convinces dad to cool down in a kiddie pool in your front yard. Yeah, we've still got air conditioners in stock, and yes, you won't have payments or interest for 1 year. Keeping dad from bathing in public during a heat wave. That's how you save your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
The Bricks Appliance Super Sale is here for all your home outfitting needs. Check out amazing deals on all major appliances, like chest freezers starting at just $199 and washer and dryer packages for under $1,500. Plus, shop incredible deals in other departments, like up to $920 off sofas and sectionals. This summer, the Bricks Appliance Super Sale has got you covered. Whether you're looking for items as big as a fridge or as small as a kettle. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Employee pricing is on now at Chevrolet. Right now, get up to $10,500 off select Silverado 1500 High Country Crew Cab models. With an available 6.2-liter V8 engine and standard Chevrolet safety assist, including forward collision alert, getting out of the city and having a nice, quiet day on the beach is easier than ever this season. So relaxing. Ask your Chevrolet advisor for details.
For people
5:45. Welcome back. The rookies trying to complete the Cinderella run. That's right. Canada's first ever appearance in the Copa Americas has them in the semifinal tonight. MetLife Stadium in New York, 85,000 seat facility, sold out, with a vast majority being fans from Argentina. They travel well. Canadians, they're saying maybe 5,000 to 7,000. They'll be loud, excited. See what happens. Should be fun. Many of you, like, I wonder how many of you are suddenly like, I'm watching soccer tonight. And maybe that's something even 3 weeks ago you wouldn't have thought you would say. Because when the tournament started, I don't think many people thought they'd be into the semifinals. Heck, and they'd be in the quarterfinals. And that was a very entertaining game against Venezuela. Very entertaining. And so I think a lot of people just kind of got excited about it. So I look at this game tonight, and I'm intrigued. Now, I asked a question. We got a lot. Hey, guys, Mike Weir winning the Masters for a big upset. Hey, boys, what about Jacques Villeneuve beating out Schumacher F1 Championship? Now, that's a good one. Right? That's a good one. I like that from Ken. Hey, guys, what about Donovan Bailey breaking the 100-meter world record? Canadian men's 4x100 in gold. It has to be an upset. Oh, well, that might be the bigger one, if we're being honest, right? Because Donovan Bailey had been trending. He was one of the elite sprinters in the world. But yes, the Canadian men weren't expected to win gold. Now, they were obviously in the final, but still. Yeah, that's probably Juice. I would probably agree with you more on that one, for sure. That it would be there. Hey, guys, we were at the Uruguay-Bolivia game, 45,000 people. I couldn't imagine 80,000. It was insane. From Sean, who actually sent us some pictures from the stadium. Unreal. Yeah, why not? You know what? I'll say I went to a sporting event in Europe, and it's just different. It's a different feel. And they bring how they watch games there. And it was a hockey game in Cologne, Germany, and fans are like, it's totally different than how we do things here in North America. And after watching that, I always was kind of like, I think we're missing out. People get so used to, I got to sit down the whole. No, you don't. Now, maybe if you physically are unable to stand, okay, sure. But you don't have to. Look at it in the playoffs. There were times in the lower bowl, upper people are standing. Even look in the U.S., like when Edmonton was in Dallas. Edmonton's in Florida. I was at the Florida game. They're on their feet, man, for a long stretch of time. It's all right. No, you can't stand up. I need to sit down and watch. Well, maybe we have to rethink that, hey, if I go to a game, I got to know that I'm going to be standing up. That's just part of it. Otherwise, I don't go. But they sing. Like, it's a fun event more than just, and you don't just cheer when they score. Like, the playoff atmosphere in Edmonton's great because they found ways to cheer all the time. Now, some would say you can't do that all year long. I'm like, why? Why can't you? Look at regular season matches and soccer cons. Are they quiet? No, they're loud. They sing songs all year long. That's what they do. So why not? Hey, guys, what about Andreescu beating Serena at the U.S. Open from Team Dean? Good one. Yeah, I like that. Guys, what about Raonic against Federer at Wimbledon? Forget the rankings. Federer owned Wimbledon and had 2-1 lead at one point from Matt in Leduc. Yeah, another good one. Milos Raonic, another one of those. You wonder, had he been able to stay healthy? Could he have won at least one major? Maybe. Man, big body. It was hard. Like, he didn't necessarily have the ideal tennis body. Hey, Cons? Like, he's just almost too big at times.
Seems like with the Canadian tennis players that we have had, streaky, like they'll go on runs. We've seen it from Bianca going way back. Jeannie Bouchard went on a bit of a run, but haven't been able to sustain the consistency that the greats have.
Well, yeah, the greats, of course, because that's what makes them the greats, right? There's not many who can maintain that level of play for extended periods of time. It's just hard to do, right? And I think in tennis, because it's being like the greats get on the top, and then there's like 4 or 5 of them, and that's kind of what it's like. And no one else really. And that just shows you the difference of an individual sport sometimes. Like in a team sport, you can have the best forward, you can have the best defenseman, maybe you can have the best goalie, but you need the best team if you want to compete. And that's, I think, at times what makes it so awesome. Maybe it can make it infuriating for some, but to me, that's what also makes it super exciting and fun to watch. So, man, I can't wait for the game tonight. I got to get out of here quick. PBR in the first few minutes. Get there, try to catch up. It should be fun. And it's just kind of nice to have events. This, to me, is what makes sports great, because you have events that you get really excited for a short period of time. You don't even have to be a soccer fan. Most of you driving home right now or listening to your office or wherever you're at, you're a sports fan. And you love the emotion that sports brings out of you. Hopefully for more than, there's a lot of positive emotion. Sometimes it's frustration. Sometimes it's angst, nervousness, excitement. It's everything. But that's what's so great about it, is the emotion that comes out from watching it. Hey, guys, the miracle on turf tonight, Canada. Would it be equivalent to the American hockey team beating Russia at Lake Placid in the 80s? Well, you know what's interesting about that? Because that was the second game. It wasn't the gold medal game, right? That was their second last game. Now, the format was a little bit different there. It was all total points and everything. But still, they needed to beat Sweden in their next game to win gold. So that's a really good comparison, Mike. Because tonight you beat Argentina. They're the number 1 team. But then you'll still have to win your next game. And you're playing, what, Colombia or Uruguay? Like, whoa, Colombia spanked Panama 5-0. Uruguay beat Brazil on penalty kicks. So I kind of like that one a lot, actually. Should be. And what a thrill for all the young kids at that game. It's a great tradition in soccer where the kids come out with the players and they hold hands. You come on the field and it's just rocking crowd. It's so loud. Like, what a I would love to just talk to one of those kids who will be involved in that. How awesome would that be? Have yourselves a great night. Enjoy the game. Enjoy the heat. We will chat with you tomorrow. On behalf of Connor Halley and Declan Kruger, I'm Jason Gregor. Let's get to Sports 1440 update, brought to you by Booster Juice. Try the cookies and cream booster ball. A little tasty little bundle of almond butter, maple syrup, coconut, and gluten-free cookies right now, only at Booster Juice.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
We're about 10 minutes away from kickoff as Canada takes on Argentina at COPA semis. That one's going to be live from east of Rutherford, New Jersey, MetLife Stadium. Official start time 6 o'clock. Earlier today at Euros, it was Spain over France 2-1. They will take on the winner of England, Netherlands, who meet tomorrow at 1 o'clock out in Germany. Major League Baseball, the Jays set to take on the Giants tonight. First pitch, 7:45. 2 games postponed due to weather. Cards, Royals, and Twins, White Sox. Both those games will be made up tomorrow. Games on the diamond right now. Cubs lead the Orioles 7-2 in the 4th. Heading into the 5th, the Guardians up on the Tigers 6-3. Dodgers trail the Phillies 8-0. Rays up on the Yankees 4-1. Reds have a 5-0 lead over the Rockies in the 3rd, and you've got the Red Sox leading the Athletics 3-2 in the 2nd. Edmonton Stingers in action. They'll host the Calgary Surge down at the Hive. That one gets going at 7 o'clock, and the Edmonton Riverhawks kicking off a 6-game road trip tonight out in Wenatchee. First pitch just after 8 o'clock Mountain Time. That'll do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next on Sports 1440, it's another edition of Turn Sports. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports